Listen to me very carefully, because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula.
And good morning once again, and welcome back to another Morning Brew, or Morning Brew Part 2, since somebody else wanted to start up, quote, another brew. Anyhow, what's going on today? The real Morning Brew is back. And let's see here. And hopefully we will get somebody coming in here soon. Let's see what is going on in the chat, if anybody has showed up yet. Of course, we have the whatever stream bot there. So let's see. I'm going to try to send a message to a few people. Maybe I'll just message my own group. Let's see here. I can do this as soon as I can find it. It's been a while since I've done it. And there it is. First of all, I probably ought to put because I have my own thing, I have my own way of doing it. First, I put in the actual stream link so people know what they're popping into, rather than just a blank StreamYard stream going, okay, here you go. So first I put there we go. First I put the YouTube stream, and now I'm putting in the StreamYard link. And that is for anyone who happens to be in the group. And hopefully I'm going to message somebody the stream link directly, see if they're available. And okay, got that taken care of. And there we go. Got 2 people invited. I don't know if either of them will be able to join, but we'll be able to tell soon, because honestly, I don't know if anybody's going to show up this morning. I know that somebody else is streaming, so actually probably several people are streaming by now. And I see uploads. Okay. Ooh, let's see here. Okay, somebody's live. Which is pretty cool. Now, see here. I'm getting notifications. Oh, that was for the... Ah, cool. The Fandom Collective has already posted the link for, for the part 2. And let's see here. Go ahead and go. And yes, I did leave in a little bit of frustration earlier. And as I'm sure LDT will hear this later, so I will simply say, I know you're trying to be thought-provoking and whatever else, but when I'm trying to politely change a topic, when I'm trying to get away from what you're saying without putting you out of the chat, please listen. That's most appreciated. There was somebody else in the chat who was agreeing with what he was saying. And good afternoon, Mountains of Elysium. I'm glad you're here. At least I have somebody here in the chat with me, which is always nice. But so how has your Sunday been going today, LDG? I mean, God, Mountains of Elysium. Fuck's sake, I'm calling him the wrong name. Oh, yes, and yes, it was you, Professor Brady Specs, who was agreeing with part of what LDG was saying. But to be quite honest, what was it? Yeah, I know that was an insult calling Mountains of Elysium LDG. I sincerely apologize, Mountains of Elysium. Ah, will be taking his wife shopping in a while. Ah, well, that's good. What are you going to shop for today? As you can tell, this I am going to go ahead and risk having the StreamYard link out just in case somebody wants to join. I know Eli who was going to join in the last stream, but I had gotten to the point of, yeah. So hopefully you and your wife enjoy the hopefully you'll enjoy the time shopping. Ah, have to go to the health food store and then maybe a cup of coffee. Sounds good. And we have Mutopray 5 this morning.
Hello world, it's Berto Bray 5 again. Part 2.
Berto 5.
What do you mean? You can't hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
You were muted as you came in, so
I
yes.
thought you said we had Mutopray 5.
Well, you were muted at that point, so.
Oh, well, just temporarily. How you doing, Kip?
I am doing better, thank you.
Good.
And yes, Mountains of Elysium, Stepdaddy O'Prey. At least I can say that, unlike other streams, at least the entire stream wasn't a shit show, so I didn't choose to rename it. I've had to do that before, because, yeah, forget that. So how is Mama Pray this morning?
Mama Bray is rushing around, trying to get papers and stuff done for the doctor. She wants to have copies of like all my records of the last 6 years.
Well, yeah, that's understandable. And hopefully it will be sooner rather than later. I hope. I don't know. I don't know if you do or not.
Well, she's still. I mean, I haven't heard from her, so I'm still assuming her 12:30 is her leaving the city in a little over an hour. So she'd get here in probably a little over 90 minutes. And hopefully, I don't know how long she stays. I don't think she's going to stay all that long, but
I doubt it.
there.
She'll talk to you and Mama Pray, and of course Sassy's going to be in hiding.
Yeah, Sassy will probably run downstairs, so I'll tell her that we have a dog, but you probably won't see or hear her until she leaves.
So as wonderful as Sassy is, definitely not a guard dog. Or, well,
No,
maybe a
not
guard
not
dog.
a guard dog. Sassy is a service animal, and her service she performs
Yes.
is she eats the food I drop. Like this morning, I dropped a piece of scrambled egg, and before Mama Pray had to clean it, it was gone because Sassy did her thing.
At least she keeps things cleaned up.
Yeah, she keeps the area around my bed free from food particles. Oh, I know Alexa just notified me of something. Hold on.
Probably more sundresses on the way. Who knows?
Oh, item I arrived.
Ah,
Healthcare products has arrived. It's a good thing she told us because we didn't know. Sassy, you didn't warn us?
Maybe that was before. I don't
Oh, maybe that's what she barked before? Or it didn't come, one or the other. Nope, it's here. Okay.
maybe they were
Good.
Maybe they were just that
Good
quiet.
girl, Alexa.
Okay.
Mama Pray and I both ordered the exact same item yesterday because I thought she said, she said we could order it. I thought it said fine. I said, I took to myself, I said, I'll order it because the Mama Pray's so busy. I highly doubted she was ordering it. And then at the end of the day, when we spoke, we ended up both ordering the exact same item. At
Which
least
was?
I think they're the exact same item. A tube of Neosporin cream.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
because we had one but we gave it to Sissopray to take with her because Charlie had a boo-boo.
Right.
So let her take that one, and we knew we'd get more today. But so we ordered the exact same product, pretty much at near the same time, both from Amazon. Okay, so there was a difference. So I was going to say one came in a completely different package than the other.
You ordered one.
Oh, I ordered a single pack,
No, I ordered 2 single packs.
and Mom will probably order 2 single packs.
Exact same.
Okay, but that's why they were in different, slightly different packaging. So we've got
Good,
3.
Well, at least you have plenty there now. And yes, Mountains of Elysium says Sassy is chaser of cats, eater of cookies, stalker of cardinals, defiler of cushions, and scourge of the squirrels. I'll let you take the last part. Or not. Aroo!
Aroo! Now Sassy's looking at me.
Quite interesting, I'm sure. What are you doing, human? And at least we have Mountains of Elysium in chat. It's always good to have you here. And it seems we have a few people watching, which is always cool. Oh, all right. We have an Aussie in the chat. Thank you for the Aussie upvote. Always means so much. Thank you. And Mr. Lundell's Groovy Movies waves white flag. I don't know why. That's the wrong stream for that one. I'm sure you could go over to whatever. Another stream and wave a white flag, but now here, even though it's an international audience, it is red, white, and blue.
White flag. When did you become French, Mr. Lundell?
Or what's another country with no backbone? And good morning, Sven. And Elihu who waves the white flag. Well, that's what Elihu who is. So that's cool. And Mr. Vondell says just messing with you, which is cool. And let's see here. Good morning, Eric Saunders. What's going on today? Yes, I have decided to start part 2 because, well, I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like how the other one ended. I'm back. So now that we can talk about something a little less, what we could look at.
There was nothing wrong with the conversation we were having. You kind of have to reel in. You have to reel us in every now and then. That's what the mute button is for. Just hit give somebody else a chance to talk.
And good morning, the Catman, aka DD Myers. Unfortunately, the only way to mute LDG is to put him out of the room. I wish he was here now. And LeVar Burton, Elihu says that LeVar Burton is hosting Jeopardy from July 23rd through 30th. Cool. He's as wackadoodle as everybody else, but as long as he does a good job, I don't care. It was really, quite honestly, yes, we've always had Hollywood people that, thought their agenda was more important than whatever else in the world was going on. But it has become more mainstream now.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't give a shit what they think.
Well,
I don't agree with anybody on everything.
no, nobody does. It's just, I don't know. Me personally, I don't see, what, I just don't see that happening with media. They just walk in and change your shit on a whim like that.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not possible ever. But
yeah,
because yes, going back to that. I'm sorry, I'm having to remove the bandage in the package. But
all the movies I have on this, yeah, they can get these. This hooks directly to my PC. But I don't care if I have to buy a Blu-ray DVD player that connects to the internet. There's no way you can rewrite a non-rewritable disc. Okay, they can't change what's on those discs in my collection, and he can't convince me otherwise. That's the issue I have with the whole thing. Even though he's saying they're going to change it, no, why?
it's just well, how do I say this? He likes to, quote unquote, provide entertainment value to a stream.
Drama
And
king.
I don't happen to find his drama entertaining all the time.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that's not going to stop me from letting him come on. Seeing how he's streaming now, that's not going to happen.
Just make him calm down. That's all. And
I just need to turn his volume down is all.
Make him let other people talk.
And let's go with that one. There we go. And we're watching Bird, who's muted, play whatever the hell it is. And he died, so he's parachuting down again. Hopefully he won't die on impact.
Too late.
Boom. Well, he didn't die on impact. I'll give that much to him.
He got shot in the back.
Ouch. I think he was killed again in flight. Ugh. And good morning, Jack's room. What's going on today? We are listening to NOTPorn 5, who is playing whatever the hell game he's playing. I forget what it's called.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty something. But
It's called Call of Duty Warzone, and it's free.
and you know very well, Professor, you are more than welcome up here as well. By the way, how did the had a stream yesterday, I believe. I was asleep at the time, unfortunately, or I would have watched. All I know was there was a special stream. You mentioned it yesterday, and it was I don't know. Yeah, let's see here. The link Stepdaddy O'Prey will go to get Yvette's O'Prey's mom a present, parachuting into a city to loot something for his new daughter. Okay, it was called A Question of Trek or Alien. It went well. Cool. So I'm going to guess that it was alien related, as in Star Trek aliens, or were other aliens included? And good morning, Paula. How are you this morning? Have you been in contact with Rambling Canuck? Because I'm sure you're updated on what's going on. Yes, the Alien. The Alien film franchise. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. Like I said, I didn't see it, or else I would have known what it was. If I'd gone there, I would have known exactly what it was about. But
Well, didn't Rambling Canuck do a karaoke last night?
I don't know. Like I said, I was asleep.
Because I did see a notification for him doing karaoke.
Oh, good. Robert and her message back and forth on Facebook yesterday.
Thank you.
Huh?
Okay, he said we're just summer specials. We'll go back to Trek this fall. Cool. Okay. Okay, Mary's Game Room did karaoke on Rambling's channel. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Good to hear. That way it's still on there, even if he is not up to it necessarily. That way he could be on as long as he wants or feels up to it, and then can Mary. Really? It was the wrong way. All of a sudden, my mic's muted. Now, Yes, Bird of Prey is doing a stream later today, Professor, at, 3 Eastern? Bird? All you have to do is die now if that's correct. And yes, it's Muto Prey 5. Yes, Bill's doing karaoke on Wednesdays, which is kind of cool. He does it at an earlier time, so I will be able to join on there. Of course. And good morning, Mr. CCTV. How are you doing this morning? As you'll notice, in fact, I'm going to do this real quick. I don't know if anyone is in here that has the link to the GoFundMe for Rambling Canuck. D.D. Myers or Eric Saunders, if you have it, please say it. Maybe Mountains of Elysium does. If you'll notice, well, I know you do. In fact, let me do that real quick. Okay. Now, you can post it, by the way. But I have included his PayPal link in the description of the stream, because I do know there have been a few people when I had a GoFundMe, they could not, for whatever reason, could not give through their GoFundMe, so they had to have my PayPal. The other benefit is it's a little faster, and it can be immediate. Well, not immediate without fees, but either way, the money's going to Rambling Canuck and for what he needs, because there are going to be many things he needs over the months to come. Because obviously on days he has dialysis, which is like 3 times a week, he's definitely not going to be up to preparing meals or anything like that. So yes, definitely, anyone who can, if you can give to the GoFundMe, go for it. I fully support that. It's going to Rambling Canuck. If you can't for some reason, I've put the PayPal link in to make it easier for anyone who can't give that way. So, and yes, support Rambling Canuck. That's the one thing we want to do, is support Rambling Canuck. I think even though we don't always agree on everything, we do care about him, and we want to make sure that he is as comfortable as possible and has what he needs. Because there is absolutely no way he's up to doing much of anything these days, particularly on dialysis. I have never had to undergo that, thankfully. But I've known people who have. one that was temporary. Someone else in my life that it wasn't temporary, and she had to undergo it for years. But it was just something she had to live with, and she did the best she could. And I know Rambling Canuck is going to do the same thing. So yeah, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And anything you can give to Rambling Canuck, please do. If you can't, go ahead and share out the links both to the GoFundMe and the PayPal, because again, not everybody's going to be necessarily able to give to either one. But it's always best to have the option. This way, as many people who can give will give, and we want to support Rambling Canuck. And Sven says, give me a few and I'll come on and talk about dialysis. And yeah, like I said, I am not by any means an expert. I have a passing knowledge of it, but nothing more. And yes, as Mr. CCDV said, yeah, please support Rambling Canuck. And that is one thing I want to do. I have not, unfortunately, not been able to give, but I've tried to spread the link as much as possible. I know that the GoFundMe link is being spread far and wide, and that is awesome. I do think that the PayPal link should be shared as well, only because, again, I had 3 people I know of who could not do GoFundMe for whatever reason, and they could use the PayPal. So, like I said, that was, and I'll say this much: it provided a lot of bandages for me, which I needed. I'm now down on the number of bandages I need, and most of them are provided from the hospital now. About 90%, actually. So, and Kronos, you've returned. Yay! Well, I missed a lot. Well, yeah, you kind of did, Kronos, but that's fine. Well, we know it's not Birdo Prey 5 or Muto Prey 5. At least we know he's not Sleepo Prey 5, unless he's watching it in demo mode. Which I wouldn't put it past him, but I think it would show on screen it was demo. And Elihu Hugh, you were supposed to be up here long ago. Get your ass up here, please. And Ken Jack Ben is back in the chat. Pumpkins for everyone. What the heck? I gotta go to YouTube to see what it is. Okay. Flowers, roses. Okay, bundles of flowers, roses. Yeah, cool. It doesn't show on StreamYard the same way. That's why I had to switch over and look. And Mountains of Elysium says, if he makes a kill on screen, it's a demo. You're right. And by the way, did you get whatever you needed to do done, Kronos? I know you don't like to type. He doesn't have pointy ears. So that's good, I guess. I don't know. At least you weren't in a electric rice picker accident. And yes, that's Mr. Londell.
Where? Well, it's almost time for my premiere. I have to get out of here. It's been
No problem.
fun.
Absolutely.
It's been fun, dude.
You take care, Mr. Lundell. We will
Yeah.
see you later.
Alrighty.
And let's see here. Okay. Cap Kronos says, yes, I took care of personal matters. Cool. That means you did something that you needed to do, like eat. And yeah, Kronos ignores a lot of people, Professor. Don't worry about it. And yes, I'm good at backstage fun. Yes, Kronos has joined me backstage twice, actually. Of course, he won't connect the mic, but and now we have Sven.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's going on?
Not much. I just woke up about an hour ago. Still waking up. So, did we lose Mr. Londell? Damn it.
He had to do his premiere.
Oh, okay. So yeah, my mother passed away a couple months ago, mid-April, and she was on dialysis. And basically, dialysis is a death sentence if you don't get a transplant. They might be able to keep you alive for a year, maybe two, maybe a little longer. But she had to go for dialysis treatments 3 times a week. And afterwards, it just exhausted. It exhausts you. She would sleep for 12 hours afterward. Couldn't do much. And without she was in her 60s. She was very overweight. She was diabetic. She had a lot of medical problems. There was no transplant happening for her. It was just a matter of time. So yeah, kidney failure is very serious. Very serious. Your kidneys clean your blood. They clean the toxins out of your blood. And without them, that stuff builds up, and I believe it can be very painful. At least that's my understanding of it. Yeah. I mean, not much else I can say about it.
Yeah, it's not a hopeful thing at all, but at least it's there.
So yeah, I don't know Rambling Canuck, never spoken to him, but yeah, hopefully he can get the help he needs, because yes, it's a very serious situation, and I can speak from personal experience. Dialysis treatment isn't pleasant at all either. Sorry.
No, that much I knew. The woman I knew who had it was in her 30s, I think.
Yeah.
It was either late 30s, early 40s. I don't. It's been a few years. But she was doing it for about 5 years before they found a transplant. And I don't know what happened after that. I wasn't, I moved here and have lost touch over the years. But that was a rare exception. 5 years. But and yes, Kronos, well, you know what a mutopray is. Mutopray is bird when he's too busy to talk.
For at least another 15 minutes. Good morning.
Can you hear me, Captain?
I can now.
So
I can hear you
I'm
too.
not mute.
Well, you can blame Professor for that one. And let's see here. I'm not sorry, but I have to lighten the mood. Good idea. And then, yes, Glad Pray 5 would be more appropriate when playing this game. Then he says, hello, bird. Or hey, bird, excuse me.
So I take it.
Blames himself.
Sorry. I take it because it says Morning Brew Part 2, you had some drama again this morning.
A little.
You people, I swear to God. With the exception of maybe of Berto Prey and Mr. Londell, maybe a few others, I don't know. Most of the people that come on here, you act like fools. And I'm just gonna say this. I'm just waking up kind of grouchy, and I don't give a fuck. With Captain Trek is nice enough to allow he throws his StreamYard link in the chat. He welcomes anybody to come on to talk about anything you want, and y'all just disrespecting. This is his channel. It's like if I invited you into my home around my family, my grandparents, and you pulled your pants down and started rubbing your butt across the carpet. Y'all act like fools. Show some respect. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm sorry, Captain Trek, but I have to. It angers me. Me and you, we have disagreements.
Of course.
We've had arguments before.
Hell, yeah.
But I do not come on your channel and air that shit in public. I just don't.
No. I'm sorry. What happens? What happens in private should be private, unless it has to become public, and that's as a last resort.
We've gotten heated at each other over arguments, and we part ways and we calm down, and then everything's fine a few hours later.
Absolutely.
But it never happens in public, and that's the thing. Like you people are just disrespectful. It's probably why a lot of you don't get invited on the bigger channels, because you never know who's watching this stuff. And if I see somebody acting a fool or drunk and just being an idiot, I ain't inviting you on my channel. I mean, conduct yourself accordingly. Like if you were in public, like if you were at the bank or in line in the DMV or at the police station or whatever, conduct yourself like you were out in public when you're on these streams. Grow up, people. I'm sorry, that's all I'm going to say.
No.
No, I get it, Kronos, but it was just an example. Some of the mid-range channels, you never know. I've had bigger guys come into my streams and say hi before. Hell, Eric K, the Nerdrotics wrench, has stopped into my game stream and said hi before. You never know who's watching your stuff.
I didn't know he was a wrench for him. I had no idea.
Eric K is the wrench on Nerdrotic. He's the But yeah, I'm sorry. I don't usually do that, but I'm tired of, because the past 2 or 3 weeks I haven't been here. I catch your stuff like in post.
Yeah.
But I can't, I've been staying up too damn late, and like it's like 2 hours after I go to sleep you come on, and most of the time I can't wake up in time.
No.
And I catch your stuff in post, and it's like a freaking circus in here.
And I will say that, it's not something I've talked about. I have been told that because of some of the behavior that I have allowed, I have not been invited on several streams.
And honestly, in my opinion, it's not. I mean, well, I guess it's your channel. It kind of is. It kind of is your fault. But like Captain Trek is a nice guy. He lets y'all have your arguments and discussions and stuff. He doesn't really get involved. But you take it too far. You're not respectful. It's like, come on, this isn't your channel, and you're hurting this man's reputation. I'm just,
like I said, I hadn't talked about that. I hadn't wanted to air it, but since you brought something up, yeah.
I'm not naming any names either. I'm talking to all y'all out there, and you can come at me all you want. I don't give a fuck about your internet drama. I've lost a 6-year-old child, my mother, and several other bad shits happened to me in the past couple of years. I give 2 fucks about your petty internet drama. So fuck y'all if you can't take a joke, I guess. And I apologize, like, for being blunt. I'm just like, you're a good guy. Like, we have our disagreements about stuff, and like,
absolutely,
everybody has a bad day, and something I might say might rub you the wrong way, or something you might say might rub me the wrong way, but it happens in private. It never happens on a live stream. It's not public. None of y'all know about it.
And, it's a few people that do know about it understand. It just
Right.
happens to be something that happened
Tim,
in private.
Tempers flare,
And
we part ways, we calm down,
both
we're
of us
cool
were having a
again.
bad time at that time, and it just happened. And I haven't stopped going to your live streams. I don't always get the notifications that you go live until you're off. Thank you, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do see you live, I do go on there. And yes, I do like when you have the robot going. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a while. What's his name? Milton kind of ruined that for everybody. Thanks, Milton.
Be a bit of a smartass there.
Well, let's try to lighten the mood. Let's see what's going on in the news.
Oh yeah, I know Mr. CCDV, and I know I have a friend who has the same issue that you do. But she is 26. No, God damn it. It's 28 now. Oh, and 3 kids, 1 on the way. One of the positive things for her being pregnant is she doesn't have as much of the issues with MS while pregnant. The body does kind of do things during pregnancy. Unfortunately, without really extreme, measures, I don't think Mr. CCTV could get pregnant. Oh, and you who.
You know
Trust
what?
me, so are you. So are we all.
Mr. CCDV, I was calling you
And
CCTV for a long time until I realized
says,
it was a T.
I like your Hitchhiker's Guide bedtime stories.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that because that's that stream is a cause of a lot of anxiety for me because I'm alone, I'm in charge, and the spotlight is on me. I screw up, everybody sees it, and that's part of the reason I don't interact with the chat. And I apologize for that. If anybody watches the live streams, I would love to be making those as videos, but I don't like to hear my own voice back. And it's just easier for me to just turn the StreamYard on and start going. And the beauty about that is you can always watch it in post.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to me read you a book. I am, however, I should finish the first book of Hitchhikers tomorrow. And I am going to move on to something a little easier to read because, oh my God, the tongue twisters and the long ass made up scientific words and shit. Just want to beat my head against the wall sometimes. I haven't figured out what I'm going to read yet. I would love to read some medieval fantasy type, but I don't know. I do have a lot of Star Wars books as well. That might actually get me more views, but I would rather read something that I like.
And hello, brightest day. Well, it is still morning where I'm at least for a little while longer.
Thanks, D.D. Myers. I appreciate that. I really do.
Go ahead.
I try to stay calm and relaxing because that's me controlling my anxiety. So if that's coming off, like if that's bleeding through to you guys, then all the better. Sorry.
No problem. And good evening, Yvette. No, I just sent the link out just in case you would be able to join. I understand you are busy preparing dinner, but I didn't want to leave you out. And I haven't heard about the Jetnary thing this morning. And yes,
I disagree, Darren, because I dare you to go back through any of his live streams where I'm on and show me one where I'm showing my ass, except maybe this one when I'm calling y'all out.
the funny thing is, there are people, and unless it's been brought up, Darren has not been discussing his beliefs, which I appreciate. I don't. I don't want to be involved in the argument. I don't. I don't care. I really don't. I think it's really okay. You could be right. You could be wrong. Does it change that we are people? Does it change that we are unique individuals? And does it change the fact that we should be working to help one another rather than being working against each other? I don't think so.
Yeah. This is the copy that I'm reading to you, Kronos. It's the Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide. It's got all 5 books and whatever the hell. Maybe there's 6. Yeah, I think there's 6. But I think this one's really short. I'm not sure. I've read it all once before, but it's been about a decade. So that's what I've been reading to you. This copy, I don't know. It's got a lot of what do you call it? Typos. So when I stumble, it's either because it's a word that I can't pronounce, or it's a sentence that's just screwed to hell, and I have to figure it out.
I will say this, and I'm sure she's offered to help if there's anytime you need. I'm sure Yvette will offer assistance in that department as far as pronouncing whatever. And that's if you want, of course. Not nobody's going to force you to do anything.
Hey, what's up, Basco?
Good morning, Basco. Been a while since I've talked to you. Hey, you're another one I keep missing the streams. Of course, it was funny. I checked yesterday, and there were several channels that I'd been unsubscribed to. Yeah, thank you, YouTube. You suck. And Elihu who says, "Oh crap, a Canadian." Oh, no, you had. I know you had, because I got notification of it. That's one of the things that YouTube is awesome with, at least for this point. They will send notification when so and so subscribe to your channel, and that's great But sometimes YouTube then unsubscribes the same people. I've even had one subscribe to me 2 days later. 2 days later, I knew they were unsubscribed. I knew they had not unsubscribed because they were messaging me on Twitter.
Are you sure? They might have watched the stream where Darren was on.
No, it's like, because it's like, oh, when's your next stream? This is, in fact, one time I said, well, I'm on now. Why do you ask? And he's like, shit, really? Okay.
I'm just playing, Darren. You know I love you. We get into arguments too, but
Hell, I get into arguments with Bird all the time. All the time.
oh, he's spectating. I thought that was him playing the game. He's just watching somebody else play. He's probably doing other things, huh?
Or sleeping. And absolutely, I understand YouTube has their issues with people, they'll unsubscribe people. So I take no offense by it. It's funny because I have. Yes, that's a good thing, Kronos. Charlie O'Prey needs to teach Bird some pointers.
I kind of feel for Bert. I can kind of relate. I'm an old man too. I've got early arthritis. My hands don't work like they used to, and I can't play shooters because my reaction time's too slow. Sometimes my thumbs won't do what I tell them to do. And these kids, these 12-year-old kids in these games, they just murk you. Especially they got better internet connections than you do. So I stay away from the first-person shooters. Or at least I try to.
Of course, it's funny. Elihu said he was about ready to come up on the last stream, right as I was ending. And then an hour-ish later, I could get back on. I actually set up a stream in advance. So he's had plenty of time. And, of course, he's going to be right back. Hopefully he's able to come on. Now, again, do I agree with everything that Elihu says? No. No. I can honestly say 100% there is nobody that ever comes to my chats that I ever talk to, that I ever interact with, that I agree with 100%. Never. But I will always be open to talking to people. I will always be open to talking to people. That's a thing. I had somebody on earlier that,
well, like I said,
questionable, but
I usually miss I've usually missed your stuff, but I usually go back through and skim through and catch the conversation, see what you're talking about.
Oh, trust me, I know when people rewatch.
And give you a like and that kind of stuff.
And I will say, anyone who does rewatch, please leave a comment. Watched, thank you, you suck, anything. I don't care. Tell Darren or LDG or Sven or whatever to shut up or to whatever. I don't care. Leave a comment. That's interaction. I love that. And sorry, Bird, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, what do you mean you talk to anybody? Hardly a week goes by, you don't kick somebody off the panel.
That's not true.
Today, you kicked at least one, if not two people off the panel. Because you got tired, you didn't want to talk to them anymore.
I only kicked off LDG.
Okay, well, there's one.
Well, honestly,
that's the exact opposite to what you just said. That you're always willing to talk.
my opinion though, Bird, is if the type of discussions were going on and I was running the stream, half y'all would get kicked off before the conversation.
I'm not saying
escalated.
it was right or wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, I could understand. I mean, I wouldn't, but I can understand why he made the choice he did. But that is not the choice to always listen to somebody. That's the choice to shut somebody up when you're tired of their shit, which is fine. Your choice, your stream, your rules.
Yeah.
But that's not what you just said. That's my opinion.
That's your opinion. I accept that. Thank you. And hello, Paula. How are you this morning?
Hey, doing all right?
Yeah, I'm open to differing opinions about anything, and I'll listen to the other side of any kind of argument. But when you're screaming over each other, when you won't let people talk, when it devolves into chaos and I don't know, almost name calling and shit like that, nah. You behave like
Can you hear me
adults,
now?
or you
Yes,
kick
ma'am.
rocks.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
I forgot I had to use the other mic.
Oh,
Am I quiet?
Okay. No.
My headset
Okay.
mic doesn't do anything.
Times I feel like I'm quiet.
So how have you been, Paula? Since been a while since we talked.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Enjoying my or I guess it's Sunday now.
Yeah.
It was great to hear the weight loss progress.
Oh yeah, I saw my dad again last night, and he's like, "You can really tell."
Well, I guess the most important thing is how are you feeling?
Is it normal for me to get a really bad echo back?
Most likely you have the YouTube tab not muted, so you're hearing both the StreamYard and YouTube.
That helps. Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling wonderful. I can do so much more now than I could when I started the process. And I'm past all the surgery recovery. And now I'm just plugging along, dealing with keeping a house running by myself and doing the best
Kronos. I can. Sorry.
Of course. I'm just how are you dealing with that? I'm assuming your parents are and others are helping as well.
Yeah. My dad comes over when I have stuff like last night. Richard had a pressure washer that he used once and didn't clean out before he put it back away. And so I couldn't get it to work, and I got it partially apart, but I didn't have the physical strength to get the gasket and valve back in to put it back together. So I knew how it went together. I just couldn't get it. So I had to take it to my dad's house, and he helped me put it back together. And I'm hoping that it works. I haven't tried it yet since I brought it home. It's still in my trunk. But yeah, my dad's going to come over on Tuesday, actually, and help do some wiring and maybe change a faucet in my kitchen because it's dripping. And my sisters will come over if I need assistance with stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm hanging in there. I'm working normal back to the office and working from home occasionally. And
So how does it feel now being able to go back in the office?
we've been back to the office for a while because our company is very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly like working from home. But I also don't mind going into the office occasionally because for the type of job we have, sometimes you have to have planning meetings where you can bounce ideas off of people. And I know you can do that with video services and stuff, but sometimes in person is just easier.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't like the drive right now. They're doing construction in the interstates. And so all the people that would drive downtown Indianapolis can't go their normal routes because a part of the interstate is completely closed. And what used to be a 20-minute ride home is now like an hour and 10 minutes because I'm having to take out of the way alternate routes.
Is that because one of the bridges or something shut down?
They closed the whole in our interstates in Indy. It's called the North Split. Because Indianapolis is like a big circle, and Interstate 70 goes through east to west.
I actually
and,
live an hour east of you.
And 65 goes north-south kind of, and they go through downtown, and they merge and split in the middle so that you don't have to go around the circle every time. But now everyone's having to go around the circle. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, for the past, I'd say 10, 15 years, it seems like they're always working on 70 between Indy and Ohio.
It's
like there's
up.
always a strip under construction or
So yeah. Where are you about? It's like Dayton-ish?
No, I'm in Indiana. I live in a small town right before you get to Ohio.
Richmond area then?
Yeah, well, that's the town I drive into to like go grocery shopping, but yeah. I don't want to dox myself.
Off of there. I'm technically in Cumberland.
Yeah. I don't need none of these wackadoodles trying to find my house. You'll screw around and get yourself shot. But yeah, I live in a really, really small town. I'm about an hour from Indianapolis if I take 70. So yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just a mess. I work in Castleton. I live on the east side.
Yeah.
It's a mess. But I deal with it. But I because of the traffic, sometimes I wish I could work from home simply to save the driving time. Because that's so much driving for no. You know, I could be playing video games, or I could be playing on YouTube, or I could be knitting something. Instead, I'm in a car driving.
And good morning, MJ Garrick. You know, I love having different people in the chat. I'm just glad to hear you're doing well, Paula.
Yeah, I feel so much better. I've not been getting enough sleep lately, but that's kind of my own fault. But I've been staying up too late on school nights or work nights. But other than that, I feel so much better. And from what I've lost in weight, I mean, as of I guess this morning, I'm down almost to 106, 107 pounds.
Wow, that's total, amazing.
And it's been about 65 since surgery-ish.
Cool.
And it's an amazing difference so far. I still feel huge. and I still feel like I'm wearing tents for clothes. But part of that's, I can't afford to go out and buy new clothes every time I need. You deal with what you got.
Yeah.
But man, I went from a size 32, which is about the biggest women's size you could get. I'm wearing 2022s now. And that's a huge, 10 sizes.
Oh yeah, that is a big difference.
And it's just keep getting better.
And remember, you how do I say this? You will always, in part, be bigger than what you actually are now.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah. My mental image of myself is going to be a fat person. It's how I've been all my life. And I'm learning to try to change that. But it's hard.
I had the same problem with the opposite. Like growing up as a kid, I was always like skinny as a stick, like really skinny.
Mm-hmm.
And I got married, gained a lot of weight. I'm a big old fat guy, but my self-image was always, hey, I can run and jump and stuff. And then when I try to do that kind of stuff and realize I can't,
yeah.
As an adult now, that feeling's kind of gone away. I'm kind of used to being fat. But,
mm-hmm.
Dee Dee Myers asks, what's it like? What's small town living like? It's got its good and bad aspects. It's quiet and peaceful. Neighbors don't bother you hardly. But I can't get any food delivered. I can't even call for a pizza. I have to, if I want fast food or any kind of thing, I have to go get it. I haven't had a delivery to my house in, let's see, we've lived here for about 11 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got its good. I got to drive. It takes about 20 minutes to drive into town to 20-30 minutes driving to town. I like to go to the grocery store or stuff like that.
That's a little farther out. Growing up, we lived in a small farming community. My parents still live there. And they're about 15 minutes to the nearest grocery store, gas station. They can't get delivery. They can't even get cable where they live. They're out in the middle of farm fields in the middle of nowhere.
One of the good aspects, when my wife and I lost our 6-year-old granddaughter a year ago to a brain tumor.
Sorry to hear that.
And one of the good things about living in a small community is when that happened, the entire town came together and for support. And it was just amazing how much people we didn't even know were doing fundraisers, and local businesses were donating things. Like there's a little ice cream shop just up the road, and the woman that works there bought her a Nintendo Switch and 2 or 3 games for Christmas.
Oh wow.
And it's great living in a small community, because a small community supports itself, like that.
Yeah. My parents had the same thing happen when my husband died earlier this year.
Yeah, I heard about that. My condolences as well.
Thank you. But it is a different environment than the big city. More people, not that more people care, but I don't think life is so busy and people see each other more. And, it's a smaller community. You tend to interact with the same people over and over and care about them and want them to do good. And so I think there's a lot of that where it gets in the bigger cities, that feeling gets lost.
A local motorcycle club did a ride for her. They call it a ride. They'll all meet up in one location, and they'll drive 30, 50, 100 bikers in a convoy they'll drive from town to town to town to town, you know, and they call it a ride, and they'll stop certain spots and, you know, things like that. But then they've got a final destination. Oh crap! The destination was I can't remember what it was called. It's kind of like a VFW. I think it was an AM something. I don't remember the name of it. And it's like veterans only type spot. They opened it up. They had a bar and, you know, music and stuff. And they did a fundraiser for her, and they said that it was the most money they'd ever raised for anything like that they'd ever done. They raised over $14,000 for her treatment.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. It was a horrible thing to go through. 9-10 months of watching this little girl just wither away, and we're still grieving. My wife is just still like devastated by it. She still cries herself to sleep most nights. But the way the community came together, it's just
that's
amazing. Uplifting. It's uplifting.
Yes.
Sorry to bring everything down,
but for me, the community here helped tremendously because no one ever expected Richard to pass. It was a sudden thing. He wasn't sick for months and months.
Yeah.
That was a hard thing to deal with. I did this week finally authorize the final headstone and submitted the paperwork for his military brass headstone plaque.
Good.
The scary thing is with all of the economy and the tariffs that are happening, apparently a lot of the headstone engraving people, the headstones come from out of country, and they're starting to put tariffs on them and passing them on. And he said, I had my proofs made before they started imposing these tariffs, so they weren't going to pass them on to me, but they said headstone cost and everything is going to rise, and people just don't expect that sometimes, but it's because of all the tariffs and stuff. So I'm glad I was kind of grandfathered in because I'd started the process before the tariffs came into play. And I don't know what kind of cost he was talking, but he made it sound like it was kind of significant per headstone. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm pleased with what we finalized. I think I've shared it before, and what I've shared before is pretty much what the final design is going to be for his headstone.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And that was it would please Richard. That's all I can say.
Yes. And then I was able to, because he was in the Navy, and like if you're a veteran and you were in World War II, I know what you're going to put on your headstone, the brass military, because it's going to say World War II or World War I or Vietnam or whatever. But Richard served, and he served in what was considered a time of combat. I forget the official wording for it. But I didn't know what it would be called on his headstone. And some of the guys that he served with at the same time on the USS Theodore Roosevelt had messaged me. And so I was able to have conversation back and forth with them in Facebook chats to see what would it be called, because I didn't want to be inappropriate.
Right.
I didn't want to call it something when it really officially had another name. And so we were able to come up with Desert Storm. His headstone should say Desert Storm. And instead of saying loving husband or that kind of stuff, I wanted his boat name on there because he was so proud of that. So I'm hoping that they do it like I want, but the funeral director said it's kind of up to the guys that make the decisions for the plaques, and they might say, no, you can't have that, you can't have that. And I don't know how much veto power you have or, appeal. But I'm hoping they make it how I wanted it for him. And my dad still thinks it's funny. The cemetery where my parents bought a whole bunch of burial plots for the family. Richard is the second person in our section, and he's buried right next to a Marine. So my dad thought that was appropriate.
Oh, that is. I'd forgotten about that. I do have to appreciate that. And we're going to welcome Positive Candor, another military.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the Navy, because I was in the Navy as well and everything.
Nice.
And I was on a different carrier. I was on the Truman. I'm a plank owner of that, so that's kind of cool,
Mm-hmm. That and I found on his DD-214. Luckily, I had a digital copy of that. And he had been awarded something, I think it was called the Navy Service Achievement Medal. And I did some research on that. And it wasn't something that you just got because you were on the boat. You had to be nominated by, so I forget if it was by your peers. I think it was not peers. I think it was someone higher up in the chain of command had to nominate you. So I thought that was kind of cool that he got that Navy Achievement Medal.
Yeah, I mean, usually they give you one, I guess, close to when you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you basically done your job right and stuff like that. As long as you weren't a screw up or whatever. Yeah, so I mean, and then if you really went above and beyond, then you could get the higher one that
I was reading
the
about
achievement
them.
medal.
There were different kinds, higher and
Yeah.
higher.
Yeah. A NAM is a pretty normal. Navy Achievement Medal is pretty normal to get, but yeah, you get the and SAM, the Service Achievement Medal, then that's considered, going up and beyond and all that good stuff,
Mm-hmm. My dad was telling me his father, I never met my dad's father, it'd be my grandfather. They died before my parents married. He's my dad, who was technically my stepdad, but then he legally adopted me. So I never met his parents because they died before my parents got married. And he was a Navy veteran in World War II. And my dad said that on Memorial Day this year, he actually got his dad's flag out of the box and unfolded it and flew it on the flagpole for Memorial Day for his father.
Yeah, you can do special things like that.
So I thought that was cool. He was pleased, and then he folded it and put it back in the box. Didn't leave it out.
My grandfather's older brother was in the Seabees during World War II. He island hopped in the Pacific, building the runways so that the I don't know, so that they could land planes and stuff and keep fighting the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Paula.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
I have a stepfather. Actually, this is the thing. He's not actually my stepfather anymore because my mother divorced him years ago.
Uh-huh.
But she always supported me being close to him. And as some people know on the channel, not you may not, and others won't. My father and me are really on the outs. I had to just get away from him because he was so toxic and so bad. But my stepfather, Jeff, has been nothing but supportive of me since I was 9 years old, and that motherfucker did not have to do it. As far as I'm concerned, that man's more my father than my own bio dad is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why, as an adult, when my biological father couldn't contest the adoption, we did a legal adoption. Because my dad is my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And they raised 5 kids total, and there was never, this is my half sister, my half brother. We were just siblings. And
you know,
I
that was
appreciate
something.
that.
You know, Paula, that was something I had to try to say to my daughter. And, you know, my daughter, the one who now has baby Fred.
Oh, the new baby.
Yeah, when she was younger, of course, she was a child. She made mistakes, and she's going to grow. But she used to always say that her brother and sister were her half brother and sister. I said, stop saying that. She goes, well, they're my half. I said, no, they're not. They're your brother and sister, period.
Yeah.
And she doesn't refer to Madam Geek as her stepmother. She refers to Madam Geek as her mother, her real mother.
Yeah.
We started referring to my ex-wife as the bio mom because kind of a similar area. My father was very toxic, and like an young idiot, I ended up marrying a female version of my father.
Oof.
And it took me really recently to make that comparison. I'm 41 years old, and it took me that long just to make that comparison. But
Yeah.
once I did, it changed everything. It's crazy. But your father is who your father is. My mother's birthday is today, and my mother is the greatest. When my mother is so supportive of me, it's unreal. I mean, Captain Trek, could you imagine? They say you have the face only a mother could love. Let's be honest, Cap. Sometimes I have the personality a mother could tolerate. But my mother has been so supportive, especially recently when I told her when I told my mom I wanted nothing to do with my father anymore. She said, "That's okay, son. I understand. I get it." That meant so much to me. Just my mother listening and hearing my words and just being supportive.
Right.
I'm just glad to hear that you're doing well, Paula. It's good to hear from you again.
Yeah, I wish I could join more. I really do. And when I was off from my surgery, and then the time before the time change happened, and I don't know how this is where you're at versus me, but I swear before the time change, I could start listening in Eastern time between 6 and 7.
Right.
And after the time change, now it's I have to leave for work.
Right.
And so it's like, crap, I can't. So I liked it before the time change when I could at least, pop in the morning before I have to leave for work. But now it starts right as I have to leave.
Oh, Cap, didn't we have that conversation about how much we hate daylight savings time?
Well,
and it's
do have
also a
news
little
for
bit worse
everybody.
because, well, Paula and I are on Eastern Daylight Time, and you're on Central Time.
Correct. That does bring up some news that I was kind of saving for later, but since Paula brought it up,
Oh yeah.
when daylight time goes back to Standard Time. The show's going back to the time it was before.
Yay.
So, for me, my
Yeah.
clock never changes. It's
I'm
like,
not going to even try to decipher that. It'll confuse me.
So were you in one of the places in Central Time that doesn't observe daylight savings time?
No, I just hate daylight savings time.
Oh, I wish our state would stop. We used to not.
Yeah, we used to not too for the longest time. And
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I know. Yeah, Paula. When I moved to Indiana, because I know you're in Indiana and I'm in Indiana.
I'm in
and
Indiana as well. Been here all
God,
my
why did we go to this? What the hell?
I don't know.
they say it's for the farmers.
It started when I was a teenager. Yeah, but okay, I live around a lot of farmers, and these fools harvest their corn in the middle of the night with these giant spotlights. So what the hell do they need to roll the clock back for?
Not a damn
Then they
thing.
say it's the safety for the kids at the bus stops.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit now. It was a good idea at the time, but it's something that needs to be rescinded.
Abolished. Yeah.
Yes, abolished, rescinded, whatever you want to call it, but it just needs to stop. I'll tell you what, we need to go back to standard time because I tell you what,
our state
with the sun still being up at almost 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, our state used to not do daylight savings. When I was a kid, it would change. Half of the year we were the same time as Ohio. The other half, Ohio was an hour behind. I don't remember.
Ahead of us. In the summer, we used to switch to Central Time because we didn't move. And now we stay Eastern.
Well, I mean, yeah, Florida has already passed a law to stay on daylight saving time permanently because they'd rather have it being light later in the day, obviously.
That's nuts.
So, positive, are you saying that Florida's passed a law that they're going to stay on Eastern Daylight Time?
No, they're going to stay on daylight saving time year round.
Yeah. That would be Eastern Daylight Time, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and New York and a bunch of other states have done the same thing, but has to be approved by Congress for some stupid reason. Because Congress will only approve if you want to stay on standard time all year, like Arizona and Hawaii and I guess Alaska and whatever. So until
why would Congress need to approve something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
That makes no sense. That to me just seems like a state thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cap. I promise I'm not trying to talk politics.
I know.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's stupid, really. But and then I'd rather have it being light later in the day than earlier in the day, because then you get. I mean, especially if you have sunny weather all the time and stuff like that, you want to stay out at the beach and whatever, and have it be in daylight, as long as possible. And that's the reason, why they want it to be light later rather than earlier,
Yeah, I just know I have enough problems sleeping as it is. The time changes just screw with me so bad that it causes insomnia, and I do not like it when we change.
No.
Honestly, Paula, I don't think any of us do. Whether we go forward or back, I think we'd all just really prefer. I think a lot of us would prefer we just pick one or the other and call it a fucking day.
Yeah. I think it's funny. My parents have a house in Tennessee that is further east than Indiana is, and they are in Central Time Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Paula, I could get to the Central Time Zone if I drove 5 miles from my house right now.
Yeah, I mean, once you cross, from basically Georgia to Alabama, it basically changes to Central Time, except in Columbus, Georgia, and Phoenix, Alabama, Phoenix City, which is of Alabama, since it's right there on the border with Columbus, stays on Eastern Time. So it's weird how, if you're right on the edge, a city like that, then
It
that
may or may
city is
not.
usually going to go with the bigger city around it.
Now, Paul, if I'm right, you live over by Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, I'm east of Indy.
Okay, I'm 5 miles from a town called Hudsonville, and I tell you what, I go over there sometimes to grab a couple of beers because you know how in Indiana you can't get beer, you can't get cold beer at the store. So I go to the border of Illinois, and yes, Cap, I said it the way you like. By the way, just for you.
Illinois.
Yes, I know it's Illinois, but every time I say something that Captain Trek thinks I'm mispronouncing, he likes to correct me. So I'm trying to be a good guest.
What's the official pronunciation of proper? I've always heard it Illinois.
Thank you, Paula.
Is that the correct?
Well, if you
it's
really
weird.
despise it like I do, you call it Illinois.
It's weird. It's very weird. If you're a Northern Illinoisan, it's Illinois. If you're like me, a Southern Midwestern Illinoisan, like I am, who grew up near St. Louis, it's Illinois. The S is not silent to us. Everybody tells us the S is silent. We say, no, it's not.
I would agree, Kronos. Illinois. Illinois. You're right.
It's
no.
It's a French word.
No.
Just saying.
The only thing that makes my home state ill is a little tiny fucking area called Cook County.
And what? No, you were saying, Sven, about.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Is that where East St. Louis is at? Because that's a big shithole, basically.
That's true.
It was named by a Frenchman, but it is derived from a Native American word, Illiwek, which is the tribal name of the Ili tribe. Literally, the name means best people, and it is supposed to be pronounced Illinois. It's the S silent.
Yeah, I thought it was a name after an Indian tribe.
Yeah, and yeah, I like what Kronos is saying. That's like you're saying Oregon.
Correct.
Instead of Oregon, you say Oregon. Yeah.
Well, and I'll be the first one to admit, I say Oregon. I say Captain Trek lives in Kansas City, Missouri. I know it's Missouri.
No,
but
it's misery.
It's hard.
It's misery.
It's hard. Yeah, well, it's misery too. It's really misery if you live in St. Louis. And trust me, you mentioned East St. Louis. I grew up in Granite City, Illinois. Trust me, I know all about the misery of St. Louis.
New Orleans is named after the French city of Orléans, or however the fuck it's pronounced. French are weird. But they say New Orleans, but the original city is Orleans. I don't know.
I thought it was Orleans.
Orleans,
but like I
whatever
said, it's like with Illinois and Illinois. It's like, is the S silent or is it there?
Yeah, and if you grew up in the Midwest, you say "warsh,"
Ugh.
not
No.
"wash."
Oh
No.
Yeah, why do you hate the word "warsh" so much?
Because it's wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
Is there
It's
an R?
W-A-S-H. Warsh.
Wash.
Do you know how hard it is for someone like me to say that? Wash.
Paula?
Paula, what is the
Yeah.
correct pronunciation?
Wash.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, some other terms that I have issues with. I'll tell you one. I had to correct my daughter because she used the term Hoosier back when we were in South Carolina as a derogatory term. See, my wife is a native Hoosier. She's from here. She's from Indiana.
Me too.
Hey, oh, you're a Hoosier too?
Yeah, bro, I've said it 3 times. I was
Yeah,
born
sorry,
and
I heard
live
you.
in Indiana.
No, I apologize. Let me.
I didn't get tired of dying, Kronos.
I've lived here
But
all
I
my
have
life.
to go, guys. My doctor's on
Okay.
her way.
Awesome.
Kapla.
Good,
Have
good
a
luck
good
on your
summer,
date.
Bird.
Good luck on your date today, Bird. We
Yeah,
know it's
thank
really a date, so congratulations on the first of many.
You're a good man, Bird.
And yes, YouTube is being a dink.
No. Sven, I apologize. I know you said you lived in Indiana. I live in Indiana. I know Paul lives in Indiana, but I don't consider myself a Hoosier. I wasn't born here. I'm an Illinoisan. So yeah, I understand what you're saying there. My apologies for
No, it's
not
all good.
catching.
I've lived here all
But
my life.
my
Does
daughter would
everybody?
use it.
I got a question for Indiana people. Does everybody in Indiana like the movie Hoosiers or no? Do you like it or not?
I've seen it a couple times. It's all right.
The one with Gene Hackman.
Yeah, Gene Hackman's a good actor. Yeah,
I
I've
don't
seen
know
it a
that
few
I've
times.
ever seen it all the way through.
Good luck, Bird.
Just wondering.
Talk to you later. Tell
Keep
us
your
how it
fingers
goes.
crossed and pray for Bird. Always.
Absolutely.
But my daughter was using that term Hoosier when she would describe somebody back when we were in South Carolina, and she would use it as a derogatory term, and I had to really work with her for a long time. I was like, stop saying it that way. She goes, why? They're Hoosier. I said, no, you're using a complimentary term as derogatory, and I want you to stop.
That happens all the time, you know.
Yeah, it pissed me off because when I call my wife a Hoosier, or I call my father-in-law or my mother-in-law Hoosiers, it's a term of endearment. Or my sister-in-law's, she was using it as insult, and I'm like, no, stop saying it like it's derogatory. I hate people. You know, Cap can get on my ass, and I'll totally own up to my mispronunciation of words. But I hate when somebody takes a term that is a compliment and turns it derogatory. Fucking hate that.
Yeah. I mean, every state basically gets teased on its name. You know what I mean? When you think about it. I mean, you know, Joyzy is probably the worst, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with very many of the nicknames for people in their states.
I have to admit, I'm not either.
Yeah.
Paula, are you native Indiana, or were you born somewhere else? Just curious.
No, I was born in Indiana.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah.
It's
I
been.
can't-
I'll tell you what. I've been back here 4 months now, I think, and I absolutely love it. By the way, thank you for talking to me on Facebook earlier the other day. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, I can't speak for Paula, but most of the people that I grew up around wouldn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, we'd look, use it as a derogatory. We look at you and be like, whatever, dude. And walk away,
True.
Ken Jack Ben. People always saying California like it's a derogatory. Well, you know what? Us in Illinois, we think of we say Cook
Yeah.
County as a derogatory term.
Yeah, if you want to say
Maybe I'm a
California,
hypocrite. I don't know.
if you want to say California in a good term, you just shorten it and call it Cali. Then that's good. Leave out the Fornia part.
Nah, when I lived in I lived in Cali for 7 years, and I lived in
Yeah, see?
NorCal. Yeah, I
Yeah.
lived in NorCal, and there is definitely a different culture between NorCal and South Cal. But
Oh yeah.
I think they don't understand. I think they forget there's actually a Central Cal. It's really a different culture.
Yeah, that's why they talking about splitting it up into 5 different states or whatever.
Yeah,
Just
I thought
because,
their Supreme Court shot that down a few years ago.
yeah, they did, but they always bring it up when something doesn't go one party's way or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, trust me, I do.
It's like Texas always saying, "Hey, we're gonna jump out of the states and become our own country or whatever, whatnot, and stuff like that." We're gonna succeed, and stuff like that. After especially a Democrat is elected.
Funny thing is I hear people say this, and I'm sorry, Cap, I really am not trying to talk politics, but
I know.
people say Texas is going blue. Here's the thing: Texas was once blue. It's not. It's just basic history and civics. Texas has voted Democrat for president before.
That was in the 60s when the Democrats were a different party.
True.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when you get JFK versus what they have now, I mean, you're talking a night and day difference.
Go back and look at the makeup of Congress during the 60s and 70s during the Vietnam War. I like to go on Reddit sometimes and argue with these smooth brains about political history and like what's actually in the Constitution and stuff. And one of these fools tried to blame Republicans for the Vietnam War, and I'm like, buddy, you need to like, okay, first of all, during that entire decade and a half or whatever you want to call it, there were only 2 Republican presidents, Nixon and I can't remember, Ford, and both of them made steps, and you can say what you like. Nixon did some shady stuff, but when it came to that, he took steps to try to get us out of that conflict. Congress had a super majority of Democrats, and they continuously voted to fund the conflict. Continuously, the budget vote would come up and boom, let's fund it. But more money, throw more money at it. And it's like, you can't really blame, but the political makeup of the parties was different back then. But anyway, let's talk about something else.
Good idea.
Yeah, please, because if we want to talk politics, come on my channel. I'll
Absolutely.
talk politics with you guys all you want. But I'm not going to do it on Captain Trek's channel because I know Captain Trek prefers not to.
I'm more interested in the history than the ideologies.
Right.
Well, I'm very big into civics, history, and politics, and I'm more than comfortable to talk about it. But if we're going to do that, it should probably be on my channel, and you're welcome to come, and we could talk about this shit all day long. But let's get it off Captain Trek's channel, because I know this is not what he wants to hear about. And I'm sorry, Cap, I was not trying to go there.
Oh, I know. So, let's see here.
Have any of you watched anything new seasons of TV shows that are worth watching?
I got a few. I've been finding that here lately, Netflix has been putting out some good stuff. The first thing is Sweet Tooth.
I saw that.
Have you
My
seen
wife
the whole
said
thing?
she liked that. My wife watched that and she said she loved it.
I did too. I binged the whole
like
thing in
the
like a night.
actor.
I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to look at. Maybe I'm gonna be eating crow again, like I did earlier.
I've been giving all these bigger YouTubers shit here lately because I go into these they're pop culture news discussions, and all they're talking about is Disney, and most of them are like this show sucks, basically, like Loki and the Bad Batch and stuff. And I'm like, why are you still watching it? Like, here's a show on Netflix. It's good. It's based off a comic book, and they did it really well. It's the little kid is so upbeat, and like he's got such a positive outlook. Even when the chips are down, it's like, why aren't you talking about this stuff?
I like the guy, the guy that's the football guy. That's the flawed hero is kind of what I feel. He's kind of a flawed hero because he used to be the bad guy, and now he's not the bad guy. I don't know his name, but I've seen him in other things. I think they said he was in Game of Thrones. I like him.
Yeah, that's who I know that guy from. He's the guy that Daenerys locked in the vault in Bravos, I think it was, or no, one of those cities that she conquered on Game of Thrones. Yeah, he's the big dude that I can't remember.
Built like
his
a
name.
linebacker.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah, I really like his character. He's a good actor too.
When I'm gonna say this, when my wife tells me I should watch something, it has been 10 out of 10 that I've actually ended up enjoying it. So I'm gonna have to watch this.
That's him.
I did the trailer just turned me off. I don't know why, but the trailer kind of turned me off. But you guys talking about it, my wife watching it.
MJ Garrick's got it in the chat. How do you say that? Zaros, Doxus, something like that. That's who he played on Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Another show that I'd like to recommend, what's it called? Blood and Bone, I think. Now I do have my problems with it. I think it's called Blood and Bone.
Yes, I saw that one too.
I do have my problems with it. It's got a great story and great characters. The only problem I have with it is the actors that are playing these characters, I feel, are too young for the characters they're playing. They look like they're like teenagers playing like 30, 40-year-old characters. It's kind of CW-esque. But if you can get past that, I think the story is really good. It's a really different type of fantasy world. I enjoyed it.
I have two things I would recommend, and I've recommended these many times. Captain Truck has heard me say this. Who Killed Sarah? Season 1 and 2. Thankfully, there's going to be a third season, thank God. And The Queen's Gambit.
Yeah,
that one was good.
Yeah,
oh, you saw The Queen's Gambit? Oh, please.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. Please talk about it, please. God, I loved it. My wife and I just thought this. I don't even play chess. I don't even know how to play chess, and I absolutely fucking loved it.
Yeah, that one was really good. My sister even watched that one and thought it was awesome. Yeah, I don't know who the actress is, but I was afraid it was going to be boring.
I think she's the sister to the one guy that plays the kid that. In Game of Thrones, there's a brother and sister, and I think it's the sister that sacrifices herself for Bran.
Oh yeah,
and like her brother and he's in that show, and I think that's his real life sister.
Okay.
Later, Kronos.
Take care of our favorite troll.
Anna Taylor-Joy, that's her name.
I absolutely loved watching the Queen's Gambit.
I guess I'm
Watching it,
wrong.
I haven't
They're not
done a
brothers.
review on it yet. It was so intellectual. It was so
Well,
grounding.
that character is based off of what's his name? Fisher.
Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Fischer. It's a book, and the character is a fictional character. And
Yes.
and she's based off of Bobby Fischer. Some of the I think I'm not 100% sure. So if anybody knows for sure, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think a lot of the chess situations that are in the show are actual chess situations that Bobby Fischer had done, had experienced.
I look at it this way. I was enjoying the movie I was enjoying the show so much that even though I don't know chess, I just respect the intellectualism of doing that kind of math, that kind of strategy. That is the kind of thing I really love. I love intellectualism. I love it when things make you think. And it was just a great series. And, my wife and I both have said, they talked about doing a season 2. I'm like, no. I'm like, please, God, no. Because the whole 8 episodes and the ending, in my opinion, was just perfect bookend.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Well, I thought it was actually booked as a limited series, which to me is they're not going to make more.
Yeah,
I hope not. It's something I'm actually
no.
good
It's
about in physical media.
I'm looking at it right now. It's a miniseries. It was a miniseries. They're not making any more. The story's done.
No, the story was done at the end. The story was done at the end, and it was, in my opinion, one of the best bookend movies ending ever.
Yeah. That's one of those subjects, though, that I think you'd get bored with it really fast if they kept trying to milk that for another season and another season and another season. It really needed to be a limited series.
Well, it comes from a novel. It's based off of a novel.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's based off a novel, and it's loosely the novel was. Or I'm sorry, if I remember correctly, and I'd have to look it up.
It's called The Queen's Gambit, the novel.
I thought it was. I thought the series was loosely based on the book, but I could be completely wrong. I'd have to relook it up.
I don't know if it's loosely based on it or not, but the novel is called The Queen's Gambit. It's the same name as the series.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 1983 novel.
I just think it was fucking excellent.
Netflix has got a lot of cool stuff. I watched one. It's a series 1, and I don't know if it's going to be a limited series, but I saw the pictures, and I started watching it, and it's one of those that was dubbed from another language. I think it was originally filmed in Icelandic, and it was called Katla, Katla, and I was mesmerized the whole time because you don't know what's going on. And I'm not going to ruin any of it because you just got to watch it. But it was fascinating.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Fascinating.
I saw the advertisement the other day. Yeah, I might check that out.
I loved it, and some of it is I've run into this with other foreign dubbed Netflix stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They can have myths and folklore that are from their original language, like the ones that are filmed in, what is it, Turkey? There's several of them, and the guy with the magic sweater or the magic shirt that keeps him protected.
Well, that's what Blood and Bone is. It's that fantasy realm is Russia, Soviet Union, and like there's this catastrophic event that divides the country. Yeah. And it's their mythos. It's their
So it's as an American, as an English speaking person that doesn't have the interaction or the knowledge of the myths of other cultures as much as American myths. They're fascinating to be integrated because it's a new take on things. It's like, wow, it's surprising to it's not a regurgitation of Romeo and Juliet, or
definitely,
it's something new and exciting. So I love all these non-English primary films.
Oh God, Paula, you just hit the nail on the freaking hammer. When I talk about Who Killed Sarah is on Netflix, but it is done in Mexico, and just my wife and I absolutely love it. It's just such a well done murder mystery. It's like, we're watching. I've watched so many, like Dark. Dark is a German.
I saw that one.
What do you think of that?
I liked that one too.
Yeah, I liked it too, except for that third season was really crazy.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them.
But the thing is we're getting really great content. We're just not getting it here.
Right. There was an interesting one, and I cannot remember the name, but it was originally filmed in Russian, and it was about a family, and there was a murder or something, and how it was just the night and day contrast of how the police were portrayed in that environment, because it was a period piece, so it wasn't modern day.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
I just got done binging a show called Black Summer. I believe it's Canadian.
Is it good though? Because I've heard about it.
It's a zombie apocalypse, but the zombies are like 28 Days Later zombies. It's like they get sick and flip out, and then they chase you down like rabid animals, and you have to run. So yeah, I had my problems with it. Like some of the decisions the characters made, I don't think real human beings in real life would make some of the cold, unfeeling decisions like that. But overall, yeah, I watched every episode. I watched it to the end. It was very enjoyable.
I did a video, and I watched Zombieland Double Tap.
Was that
after I had
one?
watched what was that fucking movie with Dave Bautista in it?
Yeah, we all
that
know
zombie movie. Yeah, well, I went through this. I said I started my whole stream with one was amazingly fun, lighthearted, didn't take itself too seriously. The other was The Army of the Dead. That movie sucked so bad and did zombies so wrong. And it was so funny. I watched that movie and I'm like, okay, I actually, after I watched it, I literally put on Zombieland Double Tap. I'd never seen it. I had seen the first movie. I'm like, please God, Woody Harrelson, don't let me down. Well, he fucking didn't.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was great. It was fun. It was enjoyable. It was just, it made me just.
Are you guys fans of horror? You like horror movies?
Some.
Depends on your type of horror.
I'm not a fan of the horror genre. I never really have been. I'm just not a fan of it. I'll give things a chance. I watched a movie on Netflix a couple years ago. It came out on Netflix a couple of years ago, I think. It's called Ghosts of War. And it's about, it's a squad during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Europe somewhere. I don't recall exactly. They've been through some stuff. Like they're hardened, going through PTSD type of guys. You know what I mean? Each member has its own, is dealing with his own shit from the war. They take over. They're ordered to take over guarding this mansion. As soon as they get there, the squad that they're relieving gets out of Dodge. They're like, they're ghost white, scared to death. They're out of there. And then it's basically like a haunted house type of thing, but it's like, during World War II, Nazis, U.S., I think they're Marines, they might be Army. I don't recall. It's been a couple years since I watched it. But it's got like a sort of like an M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. Some people might like it, some people might not. I thought it was overall a decent movie, and I really enjoyed it. Not really a big horror fan, but yeah, Ghosts of War.
I'm gonna be completely honest. When it comes to horror, it's subjectable to me, but I like psychological thrillers.
Yeah,
it's kind of in that vein.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm more, psychological thrillers. I don't like the blood and guts for blood and guts sake.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I'll take a slasher movie every now and again, but I like psychological thriller. And I'll tell you what, if you take a recommendation from me, check out the movie Hush if you haven't seen it. That was a very good psychological thriller, in my opinion, because the whole point of this movie is it's very low budget. It's okay. But the whole point is the woman's deaf and there's someone trying to kill her. And that's all I'm going to say. And there are moments in that movie when just nothing but silence. And I, as an audience viewer, was like, just like, oh my God, this is how this person, she can't hear. So there were certain things that came around where they show about deaf people who it was good. I'm going to shut up and say this. Give Hush a shot. I thought it was really good. That's just my opinion.
I think that show that I told you about is kind of falls on that psychological thriller. You just don't know. You just don't know what's happening.
That is the kind of movie that I like. Not the blood and guts, gore.
Yeah, Ghosts of War is is psychological. It's more of a jump scare, like what the hell's going on, what's going to happen next, type of movie. Like,
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Sven. Jump scares, in my opinion, are cheap.
It's not. That's not what I mean. Like, it's a psychological thriller. You don't know what's happening.
No, I just meant. I understand, but jump scares to me are just cheap, in my opinion. Maybe they're cheap now, but there was a time when suspense meant something. It's not there. At least not an American film.
Well,
not anymore.
Like Psycho was.
That's what I was just thinking.
Was a jump scare.
Yes.
That was a jump scare. That was a jump scare.
I was thinking the same thing.
No, Psycho was a jump scare. There have been several, but they've been trying to capitalize on it, and they're failing miserably.
It's suspense. Like the whole movie is suspense. Like, you know, like guys walk into this room and you know it's dark and ooh fucking music and you know you don't know what's happening. And then like something will fall behind me. You think, is that the ghost gonna get him? But it's not. That's what I mean when I say jump scare. It's psychological. It's a good movie. You should check it out.
No, it's well, I don't know the movie, but what's come off is Hollywood thinks we're ignorant. They build up this tension with the music and whatever shit they're doing, and then all of a sudden they shut it off. There's no music, and there's a fucking jump scare. Okay? That's not what happened in Psycho. Psycho.
Well, I don't know. We were arguing the semantics of the term jump scare, I guess.
No, I'm not arguing the semantics of jump scare. I'm simply saying that if you're going to do a jump scare, please do it right and stop making us expect it. Because quite frankly, that's the whole point of a jump scare. We're not supposed to expect it. And a lot of horror movies, they try to build it up and then they try to be like, oh, fake out. And it's never good. It's always just, oh, you finally did the jump scare that we knew was coming. Fucking assholes.
So, what other kinds of movies do you like, Paula?
I'm all over the place. I love science fiction, fantasy, vampires. So you get me a good vampire that's not sparkly vampires. I love all that kind of genre stuff. King Arthur, period piece stuff. I'm all over the place.
Have you seen the trailers for this movie coming out? I think it's July. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
No.
Oh, buddy, it looks good. It's got the same people that were in The King. The King, yeah. Or no, was it King Henry? No, I think it was just called The King. It's a Netflix movie. It's about Henry V. It's kind of like the Shakespeare play, but it's not Shakespeare. But it's the same kind. It's the same people. A lot of the same people that were in that are doing this, and I love that Arthurian stuff. That's my bread and butter.
Brooks is 95 today.
Pretty sure you could find the trailer on YouTube pretty easily. And yeah, oh man, it looks so good. I can't wait.
Yeah, I like that stuff. And it doesn't matter, movie, TV series.
Hey, Elihu. You might want to lay off the weed because you misspelled the word you were trying to do. Just saying. I think you were trying to say talking in cursive, but you misspelled the word talking and you forgot IN. Now, who's fucking drunk? I'm sorry, Cap. I couldn't help it.
I have a friend that I've been watching videos with, trying to find something on Amazon Prime, since we both have Prime. And I ended up I put a whole bunch of movies on my watch list.
I have Prime as well, and I usually go there to watch older stuff.
They've got some newer stuff. I was surprised. I don't know if I still have the link.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of surprised that, despite the fact that my distribution channels I have available, I'm amazed at how much content is not on streaming.
Have any of you ever watched the TV series The Outpost?
The series?
It's a TV series. It looks interesting to me.
Outpost. I know of a movie called The Outpost.
It is on 2018 with one season, though. Maybe they canned it. My luck is I find something I really like, and then they can it after a season.
Yeah. Like, what was that show? Just came out. Damn it, I got the comic book right here. Hang on. It's called Jupiter's Legacy. I really loved the first season.
I saw that. I liked that.
Yeah, they canceled it.
I don't know what was wrong with it. They didn't have enough product placement ads to make money. What I thought it was decent.
You said there's only one season?
I think so. At least that's what it showed in my.
No, it says season 4. The Outpost was announced on September 18th last year.
That's even better.
Oh, is it on? Are you watching it on Amazon?
I'm looking at it at Amazon. It only shows you a season at a time.
Yeah, Amazon's weird. Like, they only show you one season, but like if you watch the show, it'll go on to the next season and the next season. But like the blocks when you're searching for stuff, it'll just be one season of something. So yeah.
But that one, and then the other one that was interesting. There's a movie called Arthur and Merlin.
Arthur and Merlin.
That looks like it could be interesting.
Something new?
2015.
Arthur and Merlin. Okay. Film. I have to check that out. Yeah, I love medieval fantasy.
Oh. Do you guys know the story of Sweeney Todd?
Mm-hmm.
When I was first exposed to Sweeney Todd, I was in college, and we were watching an opera appreciation class. It was one of my fluff electives. And we watched the original version of Sweeney Todd with, I forget the guy, but it had Angela Lansbury as the female character. And then they remade it in the last 10 years or so with Johnny Depp and Helen Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Prime has one that was done in 2006 from BBC TV, I think it is. And it's got Tom Hardy in it.
Oh.
And I was thinking I'm probably wrong on this, but I thought Tom Hardy was the guy in Nemesis. Who's the main character? Bald guy that's the clone of Picard in Nemesis.
Yeah, you're right. That's him.
Is that Tom Hardy?
That's him.
I thought it was. So I put it on my watch list because I thought, I like him as a character actor.
Yeah.
And I know the story of Sweeney Todd.
He's in a lot of stuff. Like, he was in Band of Brothers, the World War II series. He had a part in that. I don't think he showed. I mean, I think he was a supporting character. He wasn't in every episode, but yeah, he was in that. He's been in a lot of stuff that you don't realize. Yeah, he's a good, just like you said, character actor.
Mm-hmm. And then I found on Prime a classic, I think 80s monster movie, The Monster Squad. I still love that one.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's I don't know if it had an important person in the cast. The one guy, Vincent Price, I think is the neighbor that helps him try to get rid of the vampire that's trying to date his mother. It's one of those that's a cheesy 80s movie with vampires, but I love it because it's nostalgic almost.
Right.
The one I was surprised to find on Prime that I'm not sure if it's been edited, but one of Richard's favorite movies of all times. Because for those of you that didn't know my husband, he was a little, oh, look, a squirrel, and couldn't focus for lengths of time on whole movies. And there's a movie on Prime called Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah.
It was his favorite movie ever. He loved it. It's kind of, to me, it's like a bunch of Saturday Night Live skits from back in the day when they were good, like all strung together. He loved that movie. It's on Amazon Prime. And I thought I might watch it just for the nostalgia of it. Because I
remember that movie. Yeah, it was great. I'm sort of the same way myself too. I will watch foreign things that are dubbed, but I have to be in the mood for them because I can't concentrate. Usually, if I'm sitting down watching a movie, I'll watch a little bit of it, and then I'm grabbing my phone and playing a little game on my phone while I'm listening to it, and then I'll pay attention to it again, and then I'm reaching for the laptop next to me and checking Twitter or what's going on Reddit or something, and then I'll watch a little bit more, but I'm still listening to it. But yeah, I'm the same way. I will watch a foreign language dubbed movie, but I have to be focused and concentrated, or I'm going to miss a lot.
Yeah, I don't mind them when they're dubbed, and the words not matching with the mouths doesn't bother me so much because I don't watch the screen all the time because a lot of time I'm knitting or something while I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently finished a movie for like the third time that I really enjoy. You might enjoy it too, Captain Trek. It's called The Outsider. With what's his name? The guy that's got Jared Leto in it. He's the main character, and he's it's like 1955 Japan.
I saw that one.
I really love that movie. It's really good. It's he basically helps this. He's in prison, and he basically saves the life of this other guy that happens to be in the Yakuza, and he ends up joining the Yakuza.
That one was good.
And I've seen it like 3 times now.
I didn't know what to expect at first when I put that one on.
I don't know why Jared Leto gets so much shit. Like, I really like him in a lot of the things he does. I didn't hate his Joker. And he's a lot of people don't. Well, maybe some people don't know that he's the lead singer in a band that I cannot recall the name of right now.
Yeah. Something to Mars.
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah.
He's the lead singer. He's a pretty talented guy, and he's easy on the eyes too. He's a pretty handsome man.
Yes, that is true.
Captain Trek, my wife just came home, and I must depart.
Of course. Thank you for coming on. It was fun to actually have you talking today.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad I caught you. Like I said, I've been staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning, and it's usually right before you come on. And I wake up and I just miss you, or you've been off for a couple hours. It's been going on like that for about 3 weeks now.
Oh, trust me, that will change.
Hopefully, I can get my sleep schedule flipped around. Because like you, Paul, I've been suffering with insomnia a lot lately. Sleeping 4 or 5 hours, staying up half the night or most of it.
Yeah.
It's just grieving.
If I get 5 hours of sleep in a night, I'm lucky.
Yeah. Or it's like you sleep 2 or 3 hours in intervals. Sleep 2 or 3 hours and then wake up for about 8 and then take a little nap and then you're up again. And that's usually what happens to me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it was great talking to you.
Yeah.
It's great being here. Thanks to everybody in the chat. And I will talk to you guys later.
All right, later.
Sorry, I have to do this. It's kind of my thing. Ninja vanish.
No, it's it was funny. You mentioned the squirrel thing, and I think that was one reason that
Yes.
that Richard's thing he did on Sundays or Mondays, whatever, was so popular because it was, you never knew what was going to happen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He could be all over the place. And he was so funny, As a couple, we never ever sat down and watched a movie because he couldn't do it. He would go downstairs, he'd pop up, he'd watch a bit of it, he'd come down and back up. And at first it was hard because if he didn't catch enough of it, he'd start asking questions because he was missing plot points.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point I had to tell him, I'm not going to explain them to you if you're not going to stay up here and watch it. So we had to iron that out up front because it ruins my enjoyment of the movie if I have to keep explaining, as he's missed stuff every time he goes down and comes back.
Right.
We worked that out. And so he wouldn't watch a movie ever, but it was so funny when I would pick something, because I was usually the one picking because he was downstairs and I was in the living room. If I picked an action movie or something that had people fighting, he was like a little kid. And he'd stand up and then he'd be watching and he'd catch his attention. And then he'd start be air punching things and like acting out the fight scenes with his arms and like, and it was so funny. It was like a 12-year-old just standing there play acting the movie. And he didn't realize he was doing it. And it was just hilarious to watch because it'd be every time. So it'd almost be like, what's he going to do this time when this movie comes on? And every time he'd play act to the action.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
But
I was surprised, I know Bird's done the cinema Sunday things because I've caught a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was surprised to find out that through Amazon Prime, both people or all the people that log into it have to have Prime accounts, but you could do a watch party directly from Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So I was like, heck yeah. I told my dad about it and he was excited because sometimes him and my mom are not in the same vicinity because right now she's in Tennessee and he's back home. And he's like, I'd love to be able to watch a movie with your mom, like on a watch party. So I told him about it. So he was going to see if they could figure it out because it's not him figuring out that's the problem. It's my mom figuring it out. Because the person that starts it just has to start the watch party and it's there. It's the copying the link and getting it to load in your smart TV, if it's possible. And I'm not sure he could talk her through, go to the smart TV and launch the web browser and then type in this weird URL. Because if it's on the TV, you can't copy and paste.
Right.
But she would want to watch it on the TV, not like streamed on her phone. Although some phones have the ability to cast it to the TV.
Right.
So I don't know if she'd figure that out as either.
Yeah, TVs, computers and phones do have the ability to stream to the TV, which is really convenient if you've got, rather than having to get on there and type in this weird code, you just stream it. Makes it easier, but obviously would get a bit of a drain on the data.
Yeah, unless you're on Wi-Fi, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was excited. They live in the sticks in the middle of nowhere. But there's a fiber trunk that runs down. They live on a highway.
Oh, cool.
And they're actually starting to tap people into the fiber trunk. So he said they're going to be able to get gigabit internet in the next month.
Wow.
And growing up, it was basically, what were those called? Not regular phone lines, but there was a special phone line that you used to have to use to connect to the internet. Oh, I don't even remember. It's been so long.
Oh,
but
gosh,
it used to be a dial-up modem connections were all they could get. So now
years here.
He's excited. So then he'll be able to work from home better.
Oh, that would make things much easier, yeah.
They don't have dial-up anymore, but the telephone company that they have only goes up to like 100 megabit connections.
Yeah.
So to be able to get gigabit is huge. I don't know what I would do without fast internet.
Oh, it's funny. I remember thinking back, back in the day, it seemed fast.
Mm-hmm.
And of course now it's like, oh my word, that was a long time.
Yeah. I used to remember having to worry about load speed of web page as you were designing. Now, most of that's trivial. Internet connections are so fast. Although when you do then come to a web page that takes a zillion years to load, it pisses me off because there's no excuse for it in this day and age.
No, it's like, what all have you programmed into this page that it takes so long to load?
All the ads and things that come with stuff, and
Let me ask you something. What would be the one thing that you think Richard would want people to remember about him?
I don't know. Because I guess it depends of what audience of people you're talking about.
True. Okay.
He was really proud of the fact that he was a genealogist and liked people to know that. But that wouldn't be something that, like his YouTube friends wouldn't really have not cared, but, that wasn't. But I don't know.
No, I do remember him talking about that often on the streams that, one of his passions was genealogy.
Yeah.
And,
definitely was into it. I do it too, just not to the degree that he works on it. For me, it's a matter of time. There's only so much time in the day to do so many things, and you could spend 8 hours a day every day and never be done. So it's a time-consuming hobby. So I work on it when the mood strikes me, but not all the time.
No.
He was doing articles for the Indiana Transportation History blog. He had he was a member of the Facebook group, and he had a blog that went with it. And he spent a lot of time working on that and published a lot of content. He was very proud of that. And I don't know what he was thinking, but I know whether you saw his blog or not, you've seen enough blogs to know how blogs are kind of supposed to work.
Right.
Where you can see the article, but there's usually a place where you can search to find old content or like an archive of history or something. And it's usually not just one giant enormous page of blog entries. He had his set up so that it was one ginormous page of blog entries. And to see the older stuff, there was no search, there was no timeline scroll, there was no tag cloud. You literally had to scroll and scroll and scroll to see any of the older content. And I was like, I don't know what he was thinking when he set it up like that. But another person in the Indiana Transportation is taking over ownership of the blog.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a participant still as an administrator.
Right.
And I've gone through and made it so it has a opening page. And then you could see like the last 5 blog entries, and then you can get the history. And I added a tag cloud, and then I've been working on tagging all of the posts because he never tagged anything. Just to make it more user-friendly.
Right.
And I had some feedback from it. They're like, it's night and day, the difference already, people. And what's so interesting is, and the numbers aren't exact, but let's say he had 100 views a day before he died. He was posting articles 6 days a week, fully researched, 100 views a day. At this point, it's still getting 33 views a day.
Wow.
With no new content. And I think that's actually kind of amazing that it's still getting hit and viewed that frequently. So the guy that took it over said he will continue to pay for the annual WordPress fees to keep it going as long as he possibly can. And he's my age, so he's going to be a while. And then I'm working on ideas of like, kind of like you guys can do, like, I think for your link to buy you a coffee or something, to put a link in it to say you want to keep this content available, feel free to donate, and then that money will go towards the next year's renewal fees.
Absolutely.
Just to see if we can't keep it, going without costing anyone too much money. It's like $80 a year.
Right.
So not tons. But
if 8 people gave $10 a year, 16 people, give $5 a year, it would cover the cost without having cost anybody too much money.
Right. And with the views that he had when it had the 100+ views a day, he made it cost like the $89-$90. He made like almost $70 in ads that first year. They just don't let you apply the ads revenue to the build amount for the new subscription, and then you just pay the difference, which is weird to me. It'd be too convenient if they did that.
That's true.
But it does have some revenue capabilities, and those monies can be rolled back in because he had the ads on for that reason.
Yeah.
So I spent a bit of time playing with that. I take a break. I was working on it every night after work, and I had to take a break from it a bit because my eyes were going cross-eyed reading articles and then filling in all the tags.
Wow, that's a
It's a big task.
lot of work. Yeah.
Because it was over 600 blog posts. And I'm about, I think the last time I recall seeing, I've got about 280 left. So I've actually gone through
I
a
would have
good
figured
number of them.
I didn't figure you'd be that far along.
I optimized how I was able to do it so it didn't take me as long of a time. And the way the WordPress tag cloud mechanism is, I don't have to keep looking them up. Is it already there? Let's add it again. Oh, I added it twice. It knows that if I put one in that's already there, it just uses it. And if I put a new one in, it creates it.
Okay. Yeah, that's
so it
good.
Made it much easier for me to skim the articles and make the tags. But that's been an ongoing project until I get them all done. And then I was going to play with maybe writing some new articles and try to actively find guest authors to come in and make posts. And the guy that is helping, that took it over, we will proofread's not the right word. We will approve the content before they're posted. Nobody will just be able to post, because we want the articles to have the same vigor of research that Richard had done with everything.
Absolutely. And I really haven't been able to talk to Robert. Do you know what's going to be happening with history with R&R?
Not officially. Like right now, it's his hope to keep doing it. But as his health has to deal with what he's going through, it obviously has to take a back burner.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if they're just gonna work on episodes when they can and periodically post one, because I don't know if they had a formal schedule or not. But I think he's going to keep going as best as he can. And creating content, but I just don't know. Because with his health, it's hard to say, how he's going to react to those treatments. And, like they were saying, he might not have a lot of energy.
No.
And he has to have them to keep doing that stuff.
I mean, 3 times a week, that's not going to be easy. So, that's why I'm fully supporting his, the GoFundMe and the PayPal link, because, he's going to need the simple things, like, he's not going to be able to cook meals.
Right.
Something that would be nothing for most people,
right.
are going to be a huge task. So that's going to be beneficial. I'm glad that Mary is helping with helping fundraise.
Yeah, that is great that she's able to help him like that.
I just
do you happen to know, and if you can't say, but do you happen to know if he's on like a kidney donor search list?
He is, or at least the paperwork was being started. Last I heard from him.
No, and if his condition prevents him from being able to get a transplant or not. But I was wondering, do we need to also call out for go get registered so that you might be matched up with someone as a kidney donor.
Right. That I think is really important, because really, the only way this is not based on anything I've heard from him,
Mm-hmm.
but because of ongoing medical issues, his greatest chance is by somebody donating directly to him. It wouldn't necessarily, it wouldn't be
like a random match.
Right.
I see.
Because that would be, let's say everybody here who's in Canada, gets this, and all of a sudden one of them is a match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they can say, okay, I'm going to give to this person.
Yeah, well, I can see that, because especially the kidney donations are done. You can do a kidney donation as an alive person.
Right.
It's not a after you've passed choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that, being able to say, I'm donating my kidney to this person. Yeah.
And so, I mean, the chances of him getting it otherwise are really, honestly, probably not that high. I can't say that for certain, because I don't know everything. I'm not in Canada, but obviously, you're going to go for the people with the lowest health risk. Something, let's say a car accident victim, and there's no other circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to get the kidney first.
Right.
Right or wrong.
I'm sure there's a lot of red tape rules about how they do the decisions. And
yeah, unfortunately, there's always red tape.
Yeah.
But no,
it sucks getting older. It seems like a lot of us are falling apart.
Trust me, Ken Jack Ben, if that were possible, I'm sure there'd be people who would.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not legal. But yeah. I just I don't know. I'm gonna have to message him more. I know he's not not been up to being on very much, and I'm just always glad to see what he is on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't catch his streams very much. A lot of people's I don't, just because they're on at times that I can't watch.
Yeah.
I know Loki has some that are like at 9 o'clock in the morning. I just can't watch at 9 o'clock in the morning because I'm at work.
Right.
And Bill's are a lot of times in the middle of the night, because his 10 o'clock is my midnight.
Yeah.
So I don't really catch a lot of his unless they're posting them on the weekends. But I try to keep up on what I can. I think I catch Bird of Prey's more often than anybody's, because he's got the videos on Sundays, and I don't know what he calls it, where he's reading what sound like it's when he does it, it's almost like he's doing Dear Abby, where he's reading and then responding to emails and stuff.
Oh yeah, Dear Bob.
Yeah, I've caught those several times. Those can get pretty funny.
And let's see here, because somebody asked in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and put in, because I finally found Extra Burner Prey 5 sending me a message before. And speak of the devil.
Hello, world. Doctor saw me. She says I've got at least another 50 years on the throne.
And what else did she say?
She said that, no, she said that I looked a lot better than she thought I would be, in considering the reports she had seen. She's happy. She listened to my lungs. They sound perfect to her. They were clear. She's not even 100% sure I even had pneumonia. But whatever it was, it seems to have passed on. She added one pill. I'll start taking it tomorrow. We'll monitor my blood pressure for a couple weeks. Well, I guess for a bit, we'll monitor my blood pressure. And in a couple months, she'll retake the echocardiogram test. And she suspects I'll see an improvement.
Nice.
But so things, basically, it was a good report as I could have gotten.
That's always
considering good. what she could see. So, good news. I will let Yvette know, since she wanted me to message her.
Yes.
I will message Yvette, and yeah. I
So
wanted
is
to
she?
let you guys know.
What did she say about
Unfortunately,
medication?
Metro Polo or something. It's a
Metropol. I take that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very common. I used to take it. It's very common.
The
Low
names
dose.
of them are always so crazy. Give me a generic name or a brand name or something that's easy to pronounce.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were going to say, you said unfortunately.
The only unfortunate part is she is married. So not going to work as future queen of Kuroga.
Okay, was she attractive?
She was pretty easy on the eyes.
Nice.
She's also extremely smart, so that helps. That's like a bump of 20 points on the 1 to 10 scale. So,
we can always bribe the husband to leave. Big deal.
No, Uncle Paulie might meet him. Who knows?
Oh, Lord. No,
Grandpa Geek said he hated the side effects of Metropolo. I've been on it. I didn't have any real side effects.
Yeah, I don't notice any.
I'm not too worried.
I have been able to come off of 2 of the blood pressure medicines I was on, which has been amazing.
Awesome.
That is good to hear.
Most of the rest of the meds I'm on, I can't come off of because weight loss isn't going to make my allergies go away. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
My allergies are terrible.
Interesting. Something like that were possible. Oh, by the way, you lose weight, you lose allergies. Yeah. Not going to happen, but hey.
Yep.
I
was going to go to the knitting store today and congregate with the ladies at the knitting store because now that they removed the mask mandates in Indiana, you don't have to wear a mask if you've been vaccinated, even indoors. And I told myself I was going to do it today, but after mowing the yard this morning, I just decided I'm not. I'm too tired.
Yeah, I can understand why you'd be too tired. It's not exactly the easiest thing in the world to do.
And it was so hot. I had to look up the Indiana noise ordinance to see what was the earliest time I'm allowed to go out and mow.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got an electric battery mower, so it's not noisy like the big old gas engine mowers are.
Right.
And I didn't want to violate a noise ordinance. So I waited, and it's in Indiana, it's 7:00 in the morning.
Right.
So I wouldn't go out before 7, but I waited until 8:30, and it took me an hour to mow the backyard. And by the time it got close to 9:30, I was nearing the end. I was starting to get a lot of direct sunlight at that point because, the sun was still low enough. It was in the trees, and it was so hot. Just for that little bit, I had direct sunlight. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't wait any longer than I did, because I don't know if I could have finished it if I had waited, because it was just too hot. But it always feels accomplished, like I accomplished something. I got the backyard mowed.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, you accomplished something today. That's good.
And it's something that I would have never been able to do before. So to be able to do it without even thinking like, oh, yep, I'm just going to go mow the yard. I think Richard would be surprised. Because it's something I couldn't have done before.
Cap, I gotta get going though.
Oh yes, I know you got a stream. Get ready for.
Yeah, well, I got a little time before that, but got some stuff to do. Paula, it was great to hear from you.
What movie are you
happy. Today we're doing Down Periscope in about an hour from now.
Okay.
And Darren Wagner, who has been on a submarine, will be part of the panel.
Oh, nice.
So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, if I remember in an hour, I'll
feel
join
free.
you over there.
Sounds good. And yes, the other thing I do is Dear Bob. So if you ever want to.
Yeah, I like those. I've caught those many times.
Good. Awesome. Okay. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Later.
Goodbye.
And speaking of which, anybody who wants to, you can go to birdofprey5.com, scroll down to Dear Bob, and submit your Dear Bob question.
I always wondered how they submitted them, because he's always organized like they were already there. Like people weren't asking at the moment. Huh.
Oh, there are times that happens. He'll come on. Oh, there's only 3 Dear Bobs today. And, 20 minutes later, after he goes through all these, there are 8 more appear.
Yeah. I'm just having a lazy day, I think. I am still knitting. But I am doing it from the comfort of my own home.
Well, that's good. What are you working on now?
I'm doing a shawl. I'm about maybe halfway done. I just finished a sweater. It turned out really cool. It's my first official wearable sweater.
I like that one. That was.
Yeah, I guess I showed it that last time I was on. Yeah, that one, I really like that one. And it doesn't quite fit yet, but I knew that would happen. I just made a large. I'm not quite a large, but I'll get there. And I didn't know how long it would take me, because if it was going to take me 6 months to make a sweater, I definitely didn't want to make one in my current size.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have gotten it done before I can be able to actually maybe wear it. But
that would not be reasonable. I mean, it wouldn't be,
it wouldn't be helpful. It's like, oh, I made this sweater that I could wear 6 months ago when I started it, but now can't because it's too big.
Yeah, and I do have one I had started maybe a couple years ago that I never finished, and I'm gonna finish it because my goddaughter, I'm gonna give it to her. Her favorite color is green, and it just happens to be green. So I'm gonna finish that sweater that I started a zillion years ago. And I decided I'm making my mom and sister sweaters for Christmas. So I gotta start picking out the patterns and stuff for those. But depending on how hard it is and how big or small, there's like a little pullover sweater is going to take less time and less yarn than a big giant cardigan.
Right.
So I don't know how long each one is going to take. I'll have to get on them and plan. Yeah, I got to start them by this date to have them done by Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still such a new knitter that I don't know. It's hard for me to estimate how long things are going to take. But it gives me something to do. Because like I was saying earlier when I'm watching movies, I like to have something to do in my hands. I always have something crafty. Because otherwise I'm shoving food in my face. It's kind of a coping mechanism for that a bit.
Yeah. It's a healthy one. You know.
You don't want to get your yarn project dirty with Dorito fingers, so you don't buy Doritos.
And considering what you have to eat now, I guess it would be kind of a waste to eat them. I don't know how.
Eastlyn, you've been giving away the hats that you've been making. She's been posting the hats she's making on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, I have done hats and I've given away a lot of hats and scarves. I've tried to sell them in Etsy shops, and a lot of it is if it's fancy yarn, people don't want to pay for the price you have to charge.
Yeah.
For like all wool hats and scarves. As handmade wool items can cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, it could cost $100+ to make a sweater, depending on what kind of yarn you've used.
That's a funny thing because there are people that I've gone to some of the craft shows, and some of them you look at it and it's like, wow, this is. You look at the price versus like, wow, this is expensive, but then you look at the quality and it's like, no, actually, it's not that expensive considering.
And there's definitely different qualities. As a person who does yarn work, I see a variety of qualities of items that people are trying to sell. And sometimes I'm just like, that looks like a 3-year-old did it. Oh my gosh, I would never have charged for that.
Right.
Maybe they're learning or, their skills aren't. But I've also seen people the other direction be like, yeah, this hat took me 12 hours and I deserve to make $20 an hour crocheting or knitting my hat. Yeah. So I'm charging this. And I'm like, you can't charge $100+ for a stocking hat type of thing. So it's, for me, I've always looked at my sales of stuff as the means to have a self-funded hobby.
Mm-hmm.
If I can make enough to buy supplies for the next project or two, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be able to crank out enough knitted content to support myself as an income. I don't think anybody could really. You'd be the anomaly if you were able to do that.
Right.
Well, I mean, that would also take that to being your focus in life, where that's all you were doing basically would be knitting.
And while I like it, yeah, you have to give your hands and stuff some rest. I mean, you can overdo. You can get repetitive stress injuries, and but I do it more for the enjoyment. I do like dyeing yarn. And that's been fun. I actually dyed some this week. You know how they make sun tea?
Yeah.
I basically dyed yarn like someone would make sun tea. So I put a jar and twisted the yarn up and I used Easter egg tablets from Easter egg coloring kits. Shoved them in the yarn, twisted up real tight, shoved it in the water, added the vinegar, which makes the color set, and it sat outside on my back deck for about 5 days. And the sun sets the yarn colors. It sets the dye colors in the yarn. So just kind of like you're doing sun tea.
I like that.
I never done it before, and the colors didn't come out like I expected. They ended up being a lot more white in the yarn left over. So I actually over dyed them yesterday on the stovetop to get better colors because the yarn ended up being mostly white. And one of the, Easter egg colors are typically blue, yellow, green, orange, yellow, purple, or pink. So because blue and yellow make green, and there's already a green tablet, a heavy green mixed with a lot of orange goes olive green brown. And so one of the sets of dye I did, it filled the whole jar with this kind of brown olive green color. And I thought that skein is going to come out solid brown olive green. And surprisingly, it was mostly white. The only part that got the coloring was the outside edge of the yarn. It was so strange. And so I had to do something to it because the places that weren't white and they weren't brown olive green was Easter egg orange and Easter egg yellow and Easter egg pink. So it didn't quite go together. It looked weird.
Yeah.
And so I was able to over dye it in the pan with some like burgundy red and some blue. So right now it's a real burgundy leaning rainbow color. So it's predominantly the burgundy, but there's pops of rainbow colors where the colors were. And it turned out really cool. I'm glad I did the over dyeing.
That sounds beautiful.
But I'm still learning how the yarn takes the dyes, what I can get away with and what I can't. And I'm just using Kool-Aid food coloring dye and Easter egg tablets. So it's all technically food safe.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun to play with the creativity. Is there anything that you do as a crafty kind of endeavor?
No, I don't really do anything crafty. There are times, however, I will, and I've gotten, what do they call it? They're like adult coloring books where, it's not just the little kids stuff.
Right.
And I'll take the colored pencils, and I'm very particular. I'll sometimes, the way I shade things, I'll do a little light so there's space in between. So then I can use 2 different pencils. And
nice.
It's something I enjoy doing.
Do you ever do like models or anything?
No, I haven't. Part of that is, expense. It's not really been something that I've even been able to give thought to. And it would be fun. Say that.
I had bought Richard, I think, 3 or 4 Enterprise models.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when they're done, the saucer part of the Enterprise is about the size of a dinner plate. So they're good size. They're not like miniatures.
Right.
And they all disappeared to downstairs, and he opened them and has parts of them like strewn all over the place. Like he was going to start putting them together and didn't. And so I'm gathering all the pieces as I find what looks like model kit pieces. And I'm hoping that I could reassemble them and have all them complete, because
you will.
They're they're Enterprise models. Somebody could do them. So I'm hoping I can find all the bits and pieces of them, because they would have been cool to have been done. I've never really done models. I'm sure I probably could. It's just something I've never done. I've done all kinds of other things. But I have all the paints and the model glue and everything ready for him.
Wow.
He wanted to do something like that.
Yeah.
I found the models at an antique store in one of the booths that was selling, toys and things. I would love to see them finished. If I can find other parts, maybe I'll start working on them.
And Stitch Cafe's in the house.
Oh, that's a good point, Carlos. Yeah, if I cannot find all the parts, I could definitely part them out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm hopeful I can find all the parts. Because the biggest challenge I have is I'm not the only one helping throw things away. And they all know if it's something in the basement, I have to go through all the paperwork, and I have to, if you don't know what it is and it looks like it's something broke, you can't assume it's trash until you check, because he's got all kinds of model train bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I found like model train buildings, not stained glass windows, but like windows.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like a piece of broken toy, but I know that it's a piece of, it's the windows for a model train building. The other day when I was going through, I go down and I fill a giant tote full of crap and bring it up and sort through it and then figure out what's what. And I have sorting piles. Oh, here's drill bits, and here's screws, and here's hand tools, and here's unidentified stuff. And the other day I found a locomotive coupler piece in the junk. I knew what it was, luckily, so I didn't throw it away. But that's what makes it hard going through the stuff, because he just, squirrel, the next thing came along, whatever he had opened to work on, it just got set aside and shoved. And the more things he opened and shoved, the stuff got further buried.
Yeah.
And then he started doing woodworking in his basement. And so in the room where a lot of this is, there's a sanding sawdust coating everything. So it's not sawdust from sawing, but sawdust from sanding. And that gets into everything. It's everywhere. So I'm battling that. But we've got progress. I can only do so much at a time. You want to make an N scale? I forget what size the N scale models are, Carlos. Marcus, I think I married Richard in 2009. So we were married 12 years, if I did the math in my head correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was a little sad this week. I got a LinkedIn notification from Richard's LinkedIn account. I haven't got it canceled yet. Monday was his 14th anniversary with Home Depot.
Wow.
He would have been with Home Depot for 14 years on Monday. We're planning family pictures with my parents and everybody. And my mom had the idea of everybody putting on Home Depot aprons in one of the pictures. I gave Home Depot aprons to everybody in the family that wanted them. And I have extras. So it's like, yeah, I probably have enough. I can get them Home Depot aprons or hats or something. And then she said, I wonder if we could get enough of his rules t-shirts or something. Everybody in a rules t-shirt. But I don't have that many of those.
Yeah.
Because I gave one to his mother and I gave one to my brother and two of my brother-in-laws. So I think I might have one or two left. And I know I can order more.
Oh, yeah, but it's good to keep around.
Mm-hmm. The Stitch Cafe. I forget who's that.
That's NB Geek's wife.
Okay. I'm using mostly wool. The yarn I was dyeing was 100% wool. It was not superwash. Superwash wool is special wool that can be put in the washer and dryer to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't turn into like a Barbie sweater once you washed it. It's not supposed to shrink and felt. And the wool that I overdyed today was regular natural wool that'd been spun at a mill I got from a supplier. But I tend to, in the old days, I would buy whatever was good out of whatever the local yarn store is, Hobby Lobby,
right,
Walmart, Joann Fabrics. But the natural fibers, they're more enjoyable. They last longer, I think. They can be warmer, and they don't pill as badly.
Right.
So if I'm going to knit a sweater, I'm going to use wool when I can.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I know I can dye my own yarn, I could save myself a whole lot of money by buying it undyed in bulk quantities and then dyeing it to the colors I want.
Exactly.
And that part's fun for me as well. Yeah, I try to avoid the yarn stores, although Hobby Lobby had their annual yarn clearance last weekend. I admit I went to 3 different Hobby Lobbies buying certain clearance yarns. Because the benefit of living in the Indianapolis metro area is within 45 minutes of where I'm at, I could probably go to 5 or 6 different Hobby Lobbies.
Wow.
Which
That's
is
quite a few.
Yeah. Well, there's one on every side of town. Plus, there's a couple more. So they're kind of all over the place. The same thing if I was Joanne Fabrics would be the same way.
Right. Oh, it was funny. I had a cashmere sweater that somebody gave me. It was actually supposed to be an extra large. Actually, a little bit larger. Well, somebody was trying to be helpful and washed it for me.
Yeah, and it turned into a toddler sweater.
Well, not quite. It became a medium small sweater. So it went from being mine to being my mom's.
Ah. Yep, that'll happen. Yeah.
It's like, woohoo, great. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Indianapolis. The traffic, even though it can be crappy in rush hour, is still typically not as bad as some of the larger metropolitan areas in the country. So traffic isn't too bad. I mean, on a normal day for me to go to work, my travel to work is 20 minutes, door to door, during rush hour, which I don't think is that bad.
No.
It's when the evening commute takes an hour and 10 minutes that I start having issues. But I had an idea late last week that I might take myself up on to combat the traffic, is that I work near the mall. So I think I might start after work driving to the mall and walking for an hour and then go home. Because then I'm not spending that hour sitting my butt in a car. It'll be productive and I'll get in the walking I need.
True.
In the air conditioning.
So you'll be comfortable. You'll be getting your walking in.
Yep.
You'll save on stress. Sounds like a win.
Yeah, that's what I thought. When I thought of it, I was like, why don't I just do this? Because when I was several years ago, when I was just doing Weight Watchers, I would do that. Every Saturday morning, I would go to the mall and walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it. It gets me out of the house. And so I thought, since I work so close to that mall, why don't I just go walk at the mall after work? So I really think I'm going to start doing that this week. There's no excuse.
Like I said, it sounds like a perfect win for everything.
And if I ever need to shop for something, I'll already be at the mall.
That's true.
Because I think at the mall that I walk at, one lap around is a mile. So if I do 2 laps at the mall, window shopping as I go, except for like the big department stores that you can't see everything from the windows, and then I could shop on the last lap around and then go home. And when I was there last week, because I had to get new pants to wear for the family pictures, because all my pants are starting to be too big. They still have a Chick-fil-A at the mall. Some of the other restaurants have closed. Like there used to be a Cool Smoothie restaurant. It's not there anymore. But they have Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A's Diet Lemonade is really tasty.
I've heard that before.
Because it's not like the McDonald's Minute Maid lemonade, because it actually has lemon pulp in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems more fresh.
Yeah.
But I can't drink soda. And it's not like if I drink it, I'm going to die because I had the surgery. It's more the carbonation in my new little tiny stomach pouch is going to upset it to the point where I would be uncomfortable.
Right.
So I don't even bother with soda. My go-to is lemonade, and I drink the Minute Maid Light lemonade or the Chick-fil-A or the Diet lemonade, that anywhere I can find it. Yeah, NB, the 465, the speed limit is technically 55 miles an hour, and on any given morning in rush hour, the traffic patterns run 65 to 70, and the cops don't pull them over because it'd be a lost cause. They'd have to pull everybody over. They're only pulling over the people doing stupid lane changes and crap. Yeah, 465 can be nuts. But I don't think I've ever driven on streets. Where was it? I've driven from Indiana to Pennsylvania on the highways. And I think the worst places that I ever drove was around Cincinnati. Awful interstate experiences. And the other challenging one was in the Philadelphia, New Jersey Turnpike area. But most of the time, I don't find too much a problem navigating.
I mean, it's been years ago, but I would say one of the worst, as far as traffic, was Atlanta.
I've never been to Atlanta, but I've heard horror stories. I just can't imagine. Atlanta, Georgia. I have a friend that lives in Birmingham, Alabama, and he said the traffic there is a nightmare. I just can't imagine. Because to me, Indianapolis is pretty damn big. I mean, it's like the 13th largest city in the country or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think our traffic is near as bad as a lot of these other places. I think we're lucky in maybe how it is they designed it, the interstates, and how they go through and around. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I know what NB means. Yeah, 55 is supposed to do. If you drive that speed, you're risking your life.
Yep.
I've been in places like that. Trust me, I've had times in Kansas City where posted speed limit was 65, and like
come up on someone doing 40.
Well, either you come up on somebody doing 40, and then you got somebody behind you that's wanting to do 75.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. Well, and to me, the people that are so impatient they recklessly drive to get around are the ones that can be the causes of accidents more so than the person going, whether they're going grossly under the speed limit or just a little. The impatience of people is just amazing. No, all 3 lanes are backed up as far as the eye can see. You don't need to be riding my ass.
Exactly.
Expecting me to go faster. because it ain't happening. Although I am also the type that I don't like it when people tailgate me to the point where I cannot see their headlights in my rearview mirror, because to me that means they're too close. And I will start slowing down. Not necessarily do a brake check, but I have done brake checks before. But I'll start slowing down to make them get off my ass.
I've done the same.
But I have brake checked people before.
I've had a few that have gone around me, flipping me the bird.
Yeah.
One time in particular, about 5 minutes later, they were pulled over on the side of the road.
Yep. Yep. What, buddy?
So who's with you now?
The cutest. Manning just decided to come say hello. Hey. Pretty brushed. Where you been? It's that time of the day. They sleep up pretty good in the daytime. Start getting up and you want to come see me? Yeah. He's being cute. Yeah. He was so funny. When I did that yarn dyeing, him and his brother saw me put the yarn in the jar and fill it with clear water and put it on the deck.
Right.
They're fascinated, so they're watching. And the dye then started to dissolve into the water and make the water colored green.
Yeah.
It freaked him out. He started hissing at it from the patio doors, and he was like pounding on the window. He was like, holy crap, what's that? Oh my God. And he was just, he was freaked out. It was the funniest thing ever. Cause as a cat, you wonder how much color they could see and stuff.
Yeah.
And how much they perceive. And he had a freaking fit that was happening. It wasn't normal to him, because I put it out there and it didn't have color in it. Where did all that damn color come from? I just never expected him to have a hissy fit like that. It was hilarious. And of course, I didn't have my phone on me to get it on camera or anything. I just never expected him to really react like that. But they can be so territorial. I've had 2 or 3 stray cats that come and sit on the back porch.
Right.
And boy, it makes my 2 boys so territorial because they see him and then they start, poofing their chest up and like, this is our house, get away. And it makes them become a little territorial with each other.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't like it when those other cats come visit because it makes them do things that they typically wouldn't do. They've been fighting a little more because of it, but for being 2 boy cats, they're pretty okay most of the time. One of these days, I'm gonna try to get Locutus Cam set back up in a place where I can aim it, maybe like at the patio door, so I could see their antics. If I aimed it at the patio door towards the kitchen, it would get their antics at the water bowl and the patio door.
Oh, I like that.
And I think that would be hilarious because I think it only kicks on and records when there's motion. And so that would be interesting to, turn on and see what kind of video I can get out of it. I could make those and post them. I'm sure I could figure out Nero enough to, trim videos or whatever you call it, edit videos.
that would be. Oh, trust me, there would be plenty of people who would be more than willing to help you do that.
I think the Nero he had was right before they turned it into a subscription model.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I have to keep paying for, I think as long as I don't need the upgrades,
Right.
I can just use what he had on his computer downstairs.
Yeah.
And I know YouTube has a little bit of editing because on the videos that I have posted on mine that have my cats in it, you can apply music over the top of them. And I think you can pick and choose when they start and stop in the frames. Right. So I know YouTube has a bit of that built in, but it seemed rudimentary. But yeah, one of these times when I find all the bits and pieces, I think I have found most of his cameras. I don't know if I found the one that's the cutest cam though. But I haven't, it's not been a priority, so I haven't really looked.
Right.
But I would say eventually I'll get it set up because I'm still trying to get my office the rest of the way set up. And I still haven't put together that computer I bought for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to do that. It's just I run out of time to do things, and it doesn't help that IKEA doesn't have any of their furniture. Unless you're going to buy white furniture. Because I need another IKEA desktop. And they just don't have the gray, the brown, the dark colored ones. And I don't want a white desktop.
No. I'm surprised they don't have a good different colors.
Well, they do, but they're all out of stock because when COVID started, there was a run on all that kind of furniture, and then something about the Suez Canal backup problem has made their distribution plan lines really messed up.
Yeah.
So the distribution problems with that, they're struggling to get everything back to normal. Plus with COVID and manufacturing and shipping, everything kind of slowed down.
Yeah, it was kind of the perfect storm of...
Yeah. So with all of that stuff that happened, they're like, we don't know when some of this is going to come back in stock. Or if it is, we get it when we get it, and then you better buy it as soon as you find it.
Yeah.
So I'm almost to the point where I need to start logging into the IKEA webpage every morning and checking inventory for the desktops.
Yeah.
Because I need to measure the length I need, and then I need to be on the lookout for it because I need one. Because the desk that I got from my parents works great. But with my CPU unit, dual monitors, and the keyboard thing, my office phone, it takes up like 90% of the surface.
Yeah.
And there's no place for me to write. So I think I'm going to rotate the whole desk 90 degrees and to the right side, put one of those IKEA desks as a leg off of it, as a place to then write, because I'm right-handed. It'll give me a place to take notes and to spread out papers when I need to look at things. But until IKEA gets some in that are not white, I just can't do it. My mom did give me 2 IKEA bookcases, though. She's so funny. Her and my dad, she bought 3 IKEA bookcases. And some of the stuff that you can get at IKEA doesn't come in a single box because it'd be too giant and heavy. Well, these bookcases were 2-box sets. And you need a box 1 and a box 2 to put together a complete bookcase. She brought me 2 of them because she decided she didn't need them and I could have them. And she kept one. She let my dad decide which ones he wasn't bringing. And he didn't know they were 1s and 2s. So she ended up keeping 2 2s and brought me a single 2 and 3 1s. And then she tried to put it together and she's like, there's something wrong with this. I didn't have any instructions. I was missing the hardware and I don't know how to put it together and there's not all the parts. Well, it's because she was trying to put two box 2s together and the hardware was in box 1. So
Wow.
me and my sister put together the one, because I ended up with at least one of the box 2s. So I was able to put together a complete one. And then I put one of the extra box 1s in my trunk and then took it down to her house and had to disassemble what she put together, reassemble it correctly with the box 2 I took. And then I had to bring home the extra pieces for the box 1 that she had tried to assemble. And I was able to get hers put together, and I now have 2 fully assembled IKEA bookcases. I still haven't put the shelves or the shelves and the doors on them. But until I know exactly where they're going to go, I didn't want to put the glass doors on them in case I actually broke something.
Right. I can understand, when you got something that's breakable, you're not going to want to put it on till you know for sure where you're going to put it at.
Mm-hmm.
But let me check something real quick. Wow. Can't believe it. It's only about 10 minutes until Bird starts his stream.
Movie.
Yeah.
He said Periscope down, I think.
Yes, it is.
Is that one of the comedic submarine movies? With Leslie, whatever his name is? Or was that a serious?
It looks more comedic, but let me see here.
Leslie Nielsen is what I'm thinking.
Be part of it.
If I've seen it, I think it's been a long time.
Now, let's see here. It stars Kelsey Grammer, Lauren Holly, and Rob Schneider.
So it's going to be on the comedic end of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it.
Wow. William H. Macy is also in it.
Oh, he's usually pretty good and stuff.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of things.
Let's go ahead.
Frasier from Cheers. Yep.
Put that link in the chat. That way anyone can go on over and wait for the movie to start.
Mm-hmm.
But you can always watch a movie and or rest or do whatever. I'm just glad you were able to come on today.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It was another reason why I was like, yeah, if you guys are on, I'm not going to go to the yarn store because I could talk to you guys.
Well, it's definitely been fun talking to you. I'll have to get in contact. I'm not always on Facebook. That's why. But I'll make sure I'm on more.
I use it more for the messenger for people outside of family.
Right.
Yeah. I try to keep up on things.
Well,
Nice lazy Sunday.
that sounds good. Is Manning still there?
Oh, he just came back. He's wandering around. I think I heard him go downstairs and eat. They still feed him on the landing between the upstairs and the downstairs. So
that's his territory.
Yeah, they go down on the landing and eat. Yeah, you came back for scratches, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah. You trying to be a good boy, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Of course. He wants to kiss up and he wants some loving.
Yeah, him and his brother. They're usually pretty good. Oh, you tangle your tail in my yarn. They're pretty good. They don't get into too much stuff. He's wanting to jump on my lap. He sees what I'm doing now.
What are you doing now? Yes,
I'm talking on YouTube.
Ah, okay.
Oh, pick up your giant butt. Yeah.
Yeah, well, of course, he's going to be wanting some attention. So,
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. But I do want to thank everybody who's been here, particularly you, Paula.
No problem.
It's always good to have you on. And thank you all, everybody who's in chat.
Yep.
And you have a great Sunday, and I will talk to you later.
All right. Catch everyone later.